Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday, October 27th, 2020. And I am Brandon for the Brandon Ranty Show. I've got some good stuff for you planned tonight. Got a lot of people in chat already. I see lots of familiar faces out there. Got some people in Discord. Got some stuff to talk about. A complete abortion that took place last night. Might not be the most politically correct term for it, but I think it's accurate. There's been reports that some curvature has been found. Those reports have been greatly exaggerated. However, I do believe I found some more flat. So there's plenty of flat to go around. Lots left for everyone to get. And I'll show you some more of that. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Ian Adams, what's up? Page 42, Flat for Life. Rachy, good servant. How you doing, buddy? Flat for Life. I think that's twice. Sean Harston. John D. Flathead, what's up? SE Montreal, Matrix Media, Bill G, who says, where do babies come from? So if someone wants to take Bill aside and, fill him in, that'd be fine. Hell in Degenerates, Colin Dresser, Rito Znosian. Sorry about that, man. That's not part of the English language there. I don't know what to tell you. And that's about it. Going back to the beginning. Hey, everybody. Glad you're here. If you haven't heard yet, I know this will probably be shocking to you, but I do have my own channel, and you can find it at this link I'm about to post in chat. And if you could subscribe to me, I'd appreciate it. Go on over there, take a look. If you want to support the show, you can do it via Super Chat. There are Patreon and PayPal links in the description box of every show. You can also support that way. You can become a channel member. You see the people with green on their names? Those are channel members, and that's much appreciated. I think it's like a recurring monthly small thing. That's pretty cool. Very cool. A shout out to all the channel members in the Patreons. Patrons. All right. Without further ado, let's go see who's in Discord. We may have a one-on-one depending on who shows up tonight. So that might be something to look forward to as well. And you guys just prompted me to make sure my mic's working. Okay, I'm good. Okay, let's see who's in there. Say hello and we'll get it started. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
We got Travis, F. Evangelist, Jimbo, Rob Keane, SE Montreal, and the real Bob Dole. Guys, a few of you were here pretty late last night, and I put the record on my recorder, and it recorded for like 3.5 hours. Whoa, buddy. Was that some interesting stuff at different points? I got to get that up on the site.
Yeah,
it was taking so long
for it today.
I know it was like 3.5 hours. I'm like, oh shit. I meant to get back to it, but I'll get it up there. But that was pretty interesting. So look forward to that. That'll be on my channel. And I'll try to get that up there tonight after the show. Hey, did anybody happen to watch, I don't know if you guys can see my screen or not. Here, let me share. Hopefully you guys saw the thumbnail. There was a strange show that I happened upon last night. And it looked something like this, what was in the thumbnail here. Or at least that's the mental picture I got. And I know it looks strange, but I think this is pretty accurate based on what I heard. It was essentially some kind of entertainer who talked about the globe and mainstream science. And a bunch of people throwing money at him. Well, he beat the snot out of a total Poe who said that he was a flat earther. Did you guys catch any of that?
No, but it's theater. It's going to be there. What can you do about it?
Oh, it was theater, all right. It was definitely theater. What I'm talking about is the Fight the Flat Earth show last night, which I happened upon because there was a flat earther that I never heard in there, or a supposed flat earther named Dion Smo. No, sometimes
I'll check out his channel if he has one, but it does look like they kind of set up targets for easy takedown, as it were, as opposed to dealing with, more serious flat earthers like, I don't know, Southern Israelite or people like, what's his name? Life is Short. The dude who talked about perspective and stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
It does kind of look like they are shooting the easy fish, as it were.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't even think this was a fish that was swimming around, Lemon. I think this was a fish that they bred in their own bathtub. And then when it was, big enough, 6 inches long, they slaughtered it on their show because it was awful.
I've been on the show 3 times, and it got better with each interaction. Much more civil. The first time was kind of a crap show with me interrupting or whatever. But I do think there is kind of a move to kind of discredit flat earthers as opposed to just take it seriously.
Yeah, I guess in short, I'm saying that this guy was a Poe, but just from the quality of the arguments. Now, we all make mistakes, and I've watched genuine flat earthers go on that show and other shows and have bad debates. I mean, quite frankly, but I never thought to myself, this person is a total fake and a fraud, and this is just set up to make us look like idiots. Last night was so blatantly obvious that I just felt bad for anybody who's not familiar with flat earth who happened upon that show, and that's the impression that they get from us or of us.
We had Brian Sky-Fi Bry, who professed to be a flat earther for months, over a year. I finally called him out one day for his stupid GoPro curved lenses and shit. And the next day, he came on a panel to be the Glober again that he always was. This is like tactical warfare. And you shouldn't dwell too much time on a goof like Fight the Flat Earth. It takes away from everything else that we can do to be moving forward to focus on these cocksuckers.
Well, actually, I want to address a couple of the arguments that they brought up because this guy didn't respond to them adequately, and they're claiming proof of curvature. So I do have a purpose behind this, other than just to say it was a total clown show. Yeah. So this flat earther Dion Smo was presented with a maybe you guys have heard this, that Mr. Sensible has some new balloon footage. Has anybody seen it?
Probably fisheye, but no.
Well, the ballers are acting like this is like the greatest thing since Saturn V, that this it's just proof and it proves everything. And these like the Flat Earth and Team Skeptic last night were acting like this actually proved curvature, that you could see the curvature and that was proof of curvature.
Well, let's see it.
All right. I won't bring his video up, but I do have some of the pictures here. Actually, I've got a timestamp of the one that they showed on the show. Hopefully I'll be all right just flashing this.
Yeah, with that disclaimer, it's for educational purposes. It always helps, It's not for commercial gain or any other form of advancement for yourself. It's for educational purposes for everyone.
Yes, this is for all that stuff. Yeah, so this is a still shot from a timestamp in that debate where they professed that this picture right here is proof of curvature.
It proves the plane is banking or the camera's on an angle. Doesn't prove curvature. The horizon's still perfectly flat.
Yeah, no, I know it doesn't prove curvature. Certainly doesn't prove curvature. Now, when you look at this, does it appear somewhat, I don't know, curved? Like this is closer to you, this is higher. Like it does have a bit of a curve to it, right?
No, there's a horizontal indicator, a yellow one and a black one below, and it's horizontal with the actual horizontal line below it in that
It
lighter
looks
blue
like
area. This is a trick photography. This is like trying to say, well, we have a photograph, kind of a bizarre one. It looks like the foreground is curved, but the actual horizon is back behind some clouds farther
That
away
black
and
line
still
is not straight.
horizontal. It's straight. It's
Mm.
a
The
trick
black line
photo.
is not
This is
straight.
bullshit.
it looks like it's curving up to the left a little bit, like it's compressing to
That
the
black
right,
line
curving
is
up to the left.
absolutely not straight. Of that I'm confident. It looks like it bows down and goes back up on the right side.
As a lens artifact, but not the curvature of the land, more than likely.
Could be. Could be. So this is what they showed, and then they did a little trick here. Let me see where I'm at in this thing, and I'll try to pop to this little
That is
thing that
more
they
than a
showed,
mile of
and they said,
horizon or view. It
hey,
should be a,
we confirmed that there's curvature in this picture. Guess how they did it?
they compressed it
Math.
from the sides again, like
Yep.
the table.
Bing, bang, boom. Proof of curvature. Earth's a ball. End of story.
We just
More
need a
not-
good person who knows about cameras and lens
That's not
compression,
even-
and a
that's
lot
not
of this
even
glow stuff would
symmetrical.
go.
Yeah, good
There's
point. It isn't symmetrical.
encyclopedia, one volume called the Focal Encyclopedia. It has everything about lenses, photomechanical reproduction, just everything. Every kind of lens from double concave, semi-concave, double convex, every kind of lens you can possibly imagine. Aberrations, what they call pincushion distortion, everything's been described. You need an expert, get a book, the Focal Encyclopedia. It's online too.
All right.
It covers everything. There are things that have all kinds of lenses graphically online that you can program a light beam through and see it scatter and refract and everything. All that garbage is out there.
Good point, Jimbo.
Going back to school.
Does anybody else have an argument against this being curvature that they would have offered if faced with this
well, I'm just
picture?
going to reiterate what I said about it not being symmetrical. If you go to that first vertical line on the left, it looks, is it different? Is that like a dark blue or a purple?
Yeah, it's like a purple bluish kind of thing.
So if you
It's
if you
slightly
just,
shorter.
yeah, but if you just go straight up to what I'm assuming is their horizon, the grade of that line is more horizontal than it is anything else. But then at that point to the right, look at how severe the drop is.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's kind of goes like this.
I mean, it's like horizontal drop.
Right. This is very horizontal right here to the left side, like the left half, and then it just kind of goes right. Yeah, that would have been a good thing to say. Anybody else got something they would have said? No?
It's just
All right.
What altitude was that
Other
picture
than the
again?
lens artifact.
Altitude was about 39,000 meters. So what's that? 24 miles ish, something like that.
We've taken high altitude footage from 100,000 meters,
7
and
feet,
there's
7
less
miles or
curvature than that. It's not
What if
consistent
there-
enough to make any sort of judgment.
What did their high priest say about that height?
Yeah, good point.
That stuff is flat. Didn't he say that?
Yeah, was it how many millimeters
stuff
of
is
above a beach
flat.
ball?
Uh-huh. Like a flea or something?
Perspective all wrong.
Uh-huh. And Jimbo did a good thing with the ISS the other day. That's very good, bro. The height thing as compared to their
It's
calculations.
10 times higher in every photo than their claimed
Yep.
height. That's an impossibility on 100% of what they show us as video from their ISS or still images from these astronauts. Actronauts. It's a fraud. You cannot get those views from 300 miles up that they have pretending they're at 300 but showing 3,000.
Yep.
They're a fraud.
That was good stuff. So, okay. So those would have been some pretty good answers. It doesn't even matter what this guy said because he said something like, oh, you can see the dome. That's proof of the dome or some shit like that. I mean, everything that came out of this guy's mouth was so transparently bullshit. But let me show you what I did because I went back to the source material and I said, oh, okay. I wonder if they cherry picked that one image out of there. What do you guys think? You think they cherry picked it?
Oh, I'm pretty sure they cherry picked.
That's a good guess. So here is another still shot from the same video. And you can see that this one has quite a different tilt to it. And I added the white line in here. That's one thing you'll notice. So I just kind of put this where I thought the horizon is. That's another thing that I'll mention is you really can't tell where the horizon is.
Well, you can. That craft has a bar in front of the altitude meter. That's your artificial horizon.
Artificial though. This sways.
But it doesn't matter. It represents where the real horizon is. If you make your line parallel to that and lower it to where you find your horizon, that's your real horizon. These are kind of a trick. The land is actually way behind, like a reflective layer of cloud or sky or something. It's not in the foreground, the curve that they're trying to depict in that white shadowy wisp below the blue.
Yeah.
It's way farther back and horizontal.
So anyway, the visual horizon, I just kind of picked where I thought what they were identifying as the horizon, right? Was somewhere in here. Well, it doesn't look too curved to me. Does that look curved to you?
Nope.
Yeah, so
It's not de facto curvature. It's more flat and slanted. That's another thing. These pictures don't really show de facto curvature per se.
Here's another one. Here's another even better one. This one's lower down in the camera's field of view, you'll notice. This one almost looks a little concave.
I think the graph in the bottom in the yellow shows the angle maybe of the craft or the nose at different times during its flight, and that red spot is at the beginning of an ascension, which means it's pointing upwards, which would skew or slant if the cameraman kept his camera, with the base of the airplane or the floor that he was on, and it would angle the picture this way. You see those squiggly lines down below? The yellow ones?
I see them.
With the red dot? I think that's representing where the photo was taken at the beginning of a climb or an ascent.
Yeah.
What do I know?
I'm not too worried about that, but what impact do you think that has on this really rough kind of incorrect analysis we're doing?
It's a big red herring.
Yeah.
It's like there's no needle in the haystack, but you're looking for one.
I'm not looking for one.
Well, it's the art of confusion too. I mean, you can see even that cloud there below is perfectly horizontal. The only thing skewed is the angle of the lens taking the picture in the box of the camera.
So, obviously these two pictures, if you use the same method they did and try to identify the horizon, doesn't look curved to me. So I guess there's no curvature in these ones according to their standards. Huh? Aaron, why don't you come on and dispute it if you've got a problem? Aaron Armstrong, I'd be happy to have you on. Or Mr. Sensible, he could stop by. Anybody can stop by. Wasn't somebody complaining that we didn't talk about this yet? So now we're talking about it. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I don't even know why we need to talk to Mr. Sensible, to be honest with you. Anyway, so here's another one. Same story. No curvature here either. I guess we found the flat. Oh, I guess unless you look at this wide angle cam. But who would do that? Who would be silly enough to look at that wide angle cam and think that represented reality? I don't know anybody who would do that. And let's compress it. I don't know, guys. I don't see any curve here. I compressed it. Where's the curve? I see flat. Anybody want to come on and defend this crap that we've been presented for the last 2 or 3 days and that people have been touting as proof of curvature?
When we see 100 miles of shoreline from elevation like that or more in a view in front of us, X number of miles, even over 100 miles away, there should be a mile of dip or curve. But no matter what, it always looks flat.
How about this one? I just cut out the middle part here for whatever reason. Looks like some flat to me. Looks like Mr. Sensible proved the flat Earth.
I see.
Here I blew it up.
Curve in there.
I blew it up. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about, and you kind of hit on this, Jimbo. where's the horizon? Because I see it go from white to blue to darker blue to darker blue. I see something back there. Is that land? What is that? Because
Way farther back.
I think they were trying to say that that was space. Like this is all space. This is that glow that they like to put. You know that Marvel Comics books Earth glow that they put on.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. So where would you guys tell me where to stop when the horizon's at?
That blue stuff is the vacuum of space, no?
I don't know. I can't tell because I can't see that far. It's there, you know, it's very the angle to the horizon is increasing.
Space thermometer. Come on, it's a space thermometer, the blue thing and the red dot.
So where should I stop? Here? Is that the horizon? Here? Is this it? The top of the white, the blue, the darker
you're
blue?
on cloud 9 there, and there you're in sky blue.
I don't know. Hard to tell. Or how about this one?
It looks like there's a yellow of the sun back in that kind of whitish strip. It's got some yellow tint to it, so the sun's back there somewhere behind those clouds.
Maybe. Now I just took this middle part and I blew it up and I compressed that part only. Looks flat to me. Thanks, Mr. Sensible. I appreciate you providing us with this wonderful, wonderful flat earth evidence that you've provided us with. We got, what was it, 120,000 feet up and it's all flat. Looks flat to me. It's proof it's flat. So anyway, that's that.
Not very good evidence.
Nope. Either way, it's not very good evidence. You know, I don't think, photo compression, period, is good evidence. Just like you said, Jimbo.
Exaggerate the lens aberrations, especially at the sides of the lens. As they get compressed more and more towards the center, their curve is exaggerated, exponential even, compared to the ones on the better part of the lens, which is most of the lens. Most of the distortion is around the edges. When you compress them, the center will stay pretty reasonable and the edges will distort or exaggerate a lot more the curve.
That is true. Yeah, I should probably bring something up like a link that would show where lens distortion is. But the bottom line is even on what are they called? The lenses that supposedly don't have distortion.
They all do, but that's why they have multiple lenses ground and to compensate and to correct some of that.
Rectilinear.
That's why cameras have compound lenses. There's more than one lens on a camera.
Rectilinear lenses, supposed rectilinear lenses that don't have any barrel distortion. It minimizes the distortion, but it never gets rid of it. You cannot get rid of distortion. And what's more, from 120,000 feet up, how are you going to validate that you ever got rid of distortion or don't have distortion in your pictures? Especially when you take a look at the footage and it shows you a concave, a flat, and a convex look to what you don't even know is the horizon. And then you compress that and compound any errors that are there and then tell everybody that's proof of curvature.
That's more like eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
So I got a couple super chats here. Travis, play me online chess via chess.com. My username is Boa Shrimp from Aaron Armstrong. Oh, that's cool.
All right.
$5.
Right.
Yeah, I like chess too.
I'm a flat earth master. What was his name again?
Boa Shrimp.
Boa Shrimp.
BOA Shrimp.
All right. I'm on chess.com.
There you go. It looks like you got someone to play with, Aaron. Aaron, instead of reviewing this info in an echo chamber, invite Mr. Sensible on. He's a really decent guy. Put your ideas to him in person. Mr. Sensible's welcome to stop in anytime he wants. Yeah. If he wants to come tell us what he thinks, that's fine. I'm more reacting to the way that this was presented as proof on what appears to be the biggest globe earth channel out there, where I see a lot of people who come around here and troll our discords, spend a lot of time over there, and should be embarrassed by what happened last night. That was an embarrassment. Anyway, that's enough of that.
Well,
Aaron.
the thing is too, if I can mention, when people come on, a lot of them seem to come on to actually not, argue a point or reason things out between two people or more, whatever. They're here to educate us, basically, to tell us why we're wrong, how they're right, and why we, should listen to them. And well, basically, we're dummies for not listening. We're antis, the whole works. So, I prefer when people come on that it really is for an exchange and not to educate us. Thank you.
Oh, I like this. GPS. Translation. Brandon Toy will not reach out to him because he doesn't want actual answers. He just wants drama. Yeah, that's me. That's me setting up fake, obvious flat earthers, flogging them with ridiculous non-proof proofs, photo compression from 120,000 feet, cherry picking frames out of there that I think shows Earth curve. Yeah, I'm the one who wants drama, right?
Yeah, how much was it the fat boy who did it? Fight the fat tits. How much did he make last night? A couple thousand?
I don't know. People seem to throw him quite a bit of money. Not that I give a shit. Good for him. He's making money. So what?
No, that's cool. But to infer that you're doing it for the same reasons, like you might have got like $20 in the time that he gets 2,000. Yeah, really.
Yeah, well, I just want drama, I guess.
Yeah, drama. Yeah, I see.
Drama, yeah. I just want to cause drama. Actually, I was completely offended by it. It sucks that this guy, Dion, whoever it is out there acting like he's a flat earther, acting like a total jackass. A total jackass, saying the most stupidest stuff. The dumbest stuff. And Fight the Flat Earth, just playing along with it. Yep, like, yep. Oh yeah, you're a flat earther. Oh, Earth's a globe.
All's fair in love and war.
I guess so. I mean, if that's what you want to be, if that's how you want to be.
That dirty, we have right on our side and the truth. You don't have to resort to their carnival shows and their nonsense.
And GPS says, so prove me wrong and go on his channel and invite. Okay. What am I going to talk to him about? How photo compression doesn't prove the Earth's a globe? As if he hasn't heard that 20 times before. Sure, I'll go on there, GPS, just for you. Why don't you come on here and tell us how this proves that the Earth's a globe?
Yeah, I was saying, Brandon, if you go on the Jerry Springer show, well, you know what to expect.
No, I'm not going on Fight the Flat Earths.
No, not you. No, I'm saying in general.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's all it was. The Jerry Springer show. He's the Jerry Springer of the globe.
Yep.
Yeah, good call. Oh. Well, let me make sure someone's not muted. Hey, Rumpus, what's going on?
Hello. Not terribly much at the moment, actually.
Okay.
I just caught the start. Well, just caught this about 5 minutes ago. Are you disputing the photography or something in Mr. Sensible's balloon flight or something?
No. It was beautiful photography, and it. I think that I'm sharing my screen right now in there. That he did a wonderful job of proving the flat Earth. It was amazing.
Well, given the fact that he showed it was curved, I mean, you just denying the evidence of your eyes or something.
Oh, I am? Oh, can you look at the screen, please?
I'm looking at the screen.
All right. This is Mr. Sensible's footage. Does this look like a curved Earth? Where's the curve?
Well, I mean, he did demonstrate it in the actual thingy. He took a screenshot. I must admit, I haven't done that myself. I haven't taken a screenshot myself of it, but he took some reasonably good screenshots of of his footage. It did demonstrate curve.
Well, these are screenshots from his, what he published.
Well,
and
I mean,
he
obviously, it's a little bit.
Images from the side to prove the curve, which is just ridiculous.
I didn't. Sorry, can you say that again? I missed that start of that sentence.
He compressed the image inward from the sides to the middle to get his curve.
Yeah, of course.
reduced to 5. Oh yeah, of course.
Well, here's one for
Well,
you,
exactly
Rumpus.
sensible.
Yeah, of course.
Here's I did a
Well,
compression
but
too.
don't you understand why that's valid? I mean, are you that stupid?
If it's valid, then
How often
hold
do you
on,
do
Jimbo.
that
Hold on,
photo?
hold on, Jimbo. If that's valid, then Rumpus, then can you please take a look at the screen right here and tell me how this is not proof of flat Earth?
Right. So you've taken a shot where it's right at the bottom of the screen. That's what you've done, isn't it? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why. Okay. That's
Sure.
why you've got the shot that you have. You specifically cherry picked one where if you with the barrel, you can see that the line above it there shows that this lens. Unfortunately, I'm a bit surprised actually you didn't select a better lens. There are better rectilinear lenses that don't have any barrel distortion. It's so negligible, but here he's clearly got one that's not as good as it really ought to have been. And you can see from the fact that grey line there shows that there is a bit of barrel distortion, and it's actually neutralizing the bend of the curve. And as you've got the shot from further down, so you've obviously cherry picked a particular shot where the curve of the Earth is right at the bottom to make your point. And then you've obviously done that deliberately. You've obviously done that. Hold on. You've obviously done that deliberately, and you haven't taken a shot. You haven't taken a shot where the curve is in the middle.
Oh.
You can see from the grey line there that there is barrel distortion. And if you knew anything about optics, you would know that with a lens, it does suffer from barrel distortion. It increases towards the bottom, and so that will neutralize the curve. So well done for deliberately misrepresenting this video. Well done. That's dishonest, I'm afraid. I don't normally accuse people of being dishonest, but you've clearly done this deliberately, sampling a shot where the curve of the Earth is right at the bottom. So well done for being dishonest there.
So my cherry picking is not as good as his cherry picking. Is that what you're saying?
No, he had the curve in the middle.
What about this one? This is about as high as he had it.
No, again, you've chosen a shot where the curve of the Earth is below the grey line. Well done.
There's where he had it. There's where he had it. Looks like it's near the bottom to me. It looks pretty similar there, Rumpus.
Well, most of the ones he picked. Go and get a shot then with the curve in the middle. Go and do that. You've cherry picked this, and I'm afraid. I mean, I thought you were moderately honest. You were stupid, but I thought you were moderately honest. And here you're demonstrating. I don't normally make this accusation of people, but you know what you're doing. I think you know that when you have it near the bottom, perhaps you don't know that, you've chosen shots where the curve of the Earth is right at the bottom of the lens, and you sort of know that that's where you're going to get the curve. You see here, in fact, it's actually here you can see the curve is actually demonstrating the correct curve just about.
This is the correct
in
curve.
The bottom bit of the screen.
How do you know which is the correct curve and which one isn't?
Well, I'll explain to you again.
No.
The
Don't repeat what you said before.
The grey line demonstrates this lens does suffer from a little bit of barrel distortion, and that means that curves shaped like a U or an upside down U, like a hoop, will towards the bottom of the screen be flattened out. Now, I don't know whether you understand that, but you've certainly.
So this one is high enough up towards the center, Rumpus. This one is I could probably use, right? Because it's way up in the center.
No, it's not in the center. Listen to what I'm saying. The center is between the yellow line you can see there and the grey one. You've got it in the bottom sixth, I would say.
You just threw like the flat Earth under the bus, Rumpus. This is the shot he used last night to say.
Idiot. Let's try it again.
Rumpus. That's fine.
Between the yellow and the yellow line and the grey one.
Rumpus, you just threw your buddies under the bus.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, can you look on the screen and see this logo right here? This is what they used last night to say was proof of curvature. This is their shot.
Indeed, because it's curved, even though it's underneath.
As long as it's curved and it's underneath the middle, then it proves it's curvature.
So
I see.
Even though it's below the grey line, which we know has distorted in the wrong way, it's still curved in a convex fashion. Concave, sorry.
So as long as it looks like the Earth's curved, if it's underneath the gray line, then it's okay. And the distortion doesn't matter. But if it looks flat underneath the gray line,
try and listen to the logic here.
Then
things below the
does
grey
matter.
line, things below the grey line will be curved convex. In other words, they'll be bent. It'll be bent as a U shape. because that's what barrel distortion does. Obviously, you don't know how barrel distortion works. So anything in the
I
lower
don't- I-
portion of the lens.
I don't need
do
a
you
barrel
me to-
distortion class.
Right, do you obviously need to explain this in basic terms. Right,
No,
okay.
no, no,
You
no,
need
no.
a diagram of barrel distortion.
No.
You're right, you just want to ignore reality.
So he
You
shouldn't
wanna
have
ignore
used this
optics.
So
shot then,
rude,
right,
So you just want to
Rumpus?
ignore
He
optics,
shouldn't
do
have
you?
used
You
this
just wanna say,
shot,
no,
Rumpus.
you don't want to be information. Yes, and it's telling that is curved.
Oh, but
That
it's in
is
the
curved.
it's in the bottom of the.
Even
How do you know it's not
though it's in
distorted?
the bottom bit, right? Let's try and listen and understand.
Yes, please say
This
something
is
that doesn't
still
make sense
curved, right?
again.
This is still curved in the correct manner, even though it's in the area of the lens which would remove or neutralize to some degree the curvature of the Earth. Do you understand what I just said?
Yes, I just understood that you just said
Great.
there's two different standards. One is standard you apply
curved
if it looks
correctly.
like you think it should look. The second
Let's try again.
applies
Do you
if
understand
it
that the
doesn't look
bottom
like you
portion
think
of
it
the
should
lens, it
look.
will
And
make
those
it
are why
look
do you
like
keep
a
interrupting
U-shape?
me? There's plenty of time.
Well, I suppose I'm inevitably going to be muted. I suppose so I feel as though my time is
Well,
limited.
usually you descend into
no,
calling
I
us all
don't. No, I
idiots and
don't.
repeating yourself. Yes, you do.
Rumpus, before you
get
rage
frustrated.
quit, can I get a question in?
Yeah, go ahead,
Please.
SE. I think I got what I needed out of Rumpus.
Well, you're an idiot. You didn't
Okay,
know. You
Rumpus,
deny.
before you
go
quit,
ahead.
are you saying that the esteemed astrophysicist and science communicator Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong about what he said about the height and the curve?
He wasn't correct in that statement. He claimed that you can only see curvature above whatever it is. You can actually see curvature a mere 700 feet up. It's just more obvious the higher you go. He was just doing it from a point of view, I think, of intuition. He hadn't done the maths on it. I don't think he had researched it properly.
Didn't you ask him if he did the maths, or are you just speculating?
Well, he's an intelligent guy, and if he'd bothered to apply his brain to it properly, he would have realized that statement that he made about not being able to see the curvature was wrong.
You're very generous for mistakes that ballers make.
Well, I mean, I'm not a great fan of Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's not really much of a scientist. He's more of a sort of entertainer, though he has obviously got some background in science. I don't rate him terribly, but he was rash in that statement. It has been an established fact, and I can show you the geometry that you can see the curve of the Earth even at 700 feet. And of course, this is what old. We've got pictures from that guy,
Rory, is it?
Rory, who's got pictures
Oh,
demonstrating. And as I think it was even on this, we
perfect.
showed before that we even at 700 feet, you can show that the Earth is curved. You don't need to go to
Can I
these
share my
heights.
screen, please?
Of
Brandon?
course you
Can I
can.
ask
You're a
you a
little
question
low.
Of course.
on this, Rumpus? I'm
I mean,
glad
I don't
you brought
understand how
that
you
up.
can, Brandon, not understand what I've just been pointing out. If you understand barrel distortion,
No,
the
no,
fact
Rumpus,
that there's still-
stop,
hold on,
stop. You don't have to
let me
repeat
finish my
yourself.
point.
We already
Yeah,
heard it.
you didn't understand it.
Yeah, I
obviously. The
did
fact that it's
understand
still
it. I don't
got
think you
well,
understood
well,
it.
I know,
Look
I
what-
understand
look
it
what
perfectly.
I've
The
got.
fact
I don't think you did.
still made the response that you did suggests you didn't understand. Do you understand the
No,
curvature
it
will make
suggested
the barrel
you don't
the
understand.
barrel distortion of the lens?
I'm
means
sorry.
that the lower
You're
down
getting
the
things
screen,
mixed up.
the lower down
You're
the
saying
lens,
I don't understand
lower
when you
down
mean
the
you don't
lens,
understand. Anyway,
the lower
can you
down
please
the
address
lens.
what
You're
Gleam
just trying
has to
cover up
say?
you're covering up your stupidity.
There you
It's not
go.
working. We can all see you didn't understand.
Who's we all?
that-
You and the
Rumpus?
multiple people in
any
your head,
objective
or
observer can see that you're not understanding the point that I made.
I don't know. It looks
Lower
like
down the
chat's
lens,
pretty firmly on my
Can I
side. But
object to your
Gleam,
point?
go ahead.
I think he's afraid to hear Gleam. That's what
No, I'm
I
not
think.
afraid at all. Gleam's an idiot. I can guarantee demolishing Gleam on every occasion. He always gets demolished.
Can we calm down? Yep. Either way, are you looking at my screen?
I am.
Sharing. Yeah. Is
I am.
that the Rory one that you're on about? This is on Metabunk's website.
This is a different one, I think, to the one that I've been familiar with.
It's Rory's name.
Yeah, but this is a different shot to the one that I'm familiar with.
Okay.
This must be a different shot.
There was 600 shots taken on the same day, and this was his 4 that he ran back to Mick West with. But either way, this is the set of shots, yeah?
Okay, well,
We agree.
that's a perfect demonstration, that first one, of the curvature of the Earth. Yeah.
Now, do you understand what moustache distortion is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so what does that do?
Well, it causes you have a bend in the middle, and then at the end it sort of curls up like a moustache. So it's not just a nice uniform curve. There are two effects that go on.
And there's the same thing at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Where it
it
curves
changes behaviour from the top to the bottom. It's inverted. It's inverted depending on which half of the lens you're in.
Can I just ask, because last time you said everyone's stupid, because we
Yeah.
don't understand that Rory's
Incorrect.
using a rectilinear lens.
Well, it's okay. The middle portion is rectangular, and well, it's demonstrated here. The fact that the
Can
the
I just get confirmation?
let me finish my sentence. The fact that those red bars are still horizontal, yet the thing between them is curved, and that can't happen as a result of distortion of the lens, because you don't get that effect in the center. You get neutral effect even on a lens that's not terribly good. If you have it passing through the center, you do not get distortion. So the fact, yes, that's caused by the barrel distortion, yes, but that's not happening in the middle. So in other words, in the center of the lens, it's rectilinear, even on a poor lens. And as we can see, the curve of the Earth is close to the center, and we know that there's no bending going on because the red bars are not being bent, because they would be subject to the. Oh, let me finish. Nearly there. I've got 5 more
but
seconds.
you,
Nearly
I'm
finished.
trying to get
Very
clarity.
nearly finished. Very nearly finished. We can see there is no distortion because the red bars are not distorted. Go ahead.
Rumpus, all I wanted you to confirm is last time we were talking about this, you were shouting at us saying, "You're all idiots. You don't know
You
what
are
a
all idiots.
Wait there. You don't know what a rectilinear lens. He
Oh, I do.
used the No.
Okay.
No. I'm quoting you. What you were saying back to all of us.
It's rectilinear in the portion where we were worrying about the
No,
curve.
you said it was a rectilinear lens.
For
And
the
now
portion,
if I scroll up,
I would agree.
listen,
Okay, I would agree
hang
that it's
on,
not
hang on,
rectilinear. I would
'cause
agree it's not rectilinear at the edges. I would agree with you.
no,
there.
you were shouting at us, calling us idiots, saying it was rectilinear,
Yeah,
and
the
it's an
portion we're
iPhone
interested
SE,
in
you
is
bloody
rectilinear.
idiot. And
At
it's
the
got
portion,
moustacheing because he shows
yeah,
it
but
on
at
the
the
very
portion,
day that he took all these
but in the
photos.
portion that we're looking at, it is
It's got
rectilinear.
moustacheing.
Yeah, at the edges. Yeah, I'd agree with you. I must admit, I did
It's
say the whole.
there.
I did when I said that it was rectilinear.
So you're the idiot.
When I said it was rectilinear, I was referring to the portion we look at. I do agree.
You're an idiot then,
I do
because you said it
agree.
was a rectilinear
do
lens,
agree
and it
that
is not. It's an
outside the
iPhone
areas of the
SE.
center,
It's a
outside the
generic
areas of the
lens.
center, it's not rectilinear. But the area we are concerned with,
You
the
just got
area we are
ruined,
concerned
Rumpus.
with, the area we are concerned with is rectilinear, as demonstrated by the
Incorrect.
horizontal
As long as
and
it shows curve.
undistorted red bars.
Incorrect.
It is correct.
You
That
can't
it's
have
correct.
a half rectilinear,
Yes, you can.
half
The portion,
curvilinear.
the portion
No,
of the lens,
no,
the portion of the picture we're
no.
interested in is
Because even on a
rectilinear,
curvilinear lens, that's the
as
same.
demonstrated by the fact that those red bars are not distorted, shows that it's rectilinear in the portion of the photograph they are in.
You're incorrect. It's not
I mean,
a
it's
rectilinear
just
lens.
basic logic. Let's try it again. Do you understand? If the red bars are not distorted, then the lens cannot be responsible
are
for the curvature
distorted.
of the Earth. No, they're not. The curvature you can see, the curvature you can see of the Earth, cannot be the result of the lens because
They're distorted.
yes,
Rumpus,
but
they're all distorted. All of them.
But the curvature of the Earth is much greater. Yes, it's got some small errors, but the curvature of the Earth is much greater. It's not a perfect lens.
Number one, it's not a
Mr.
rectilinear lens,
Maduers.
full stop.
It is in
Number
the portion we're
two,
interested in.
no, number two, it was not dead center frame either.
Well,
I've measured the pixels
but
and it wasn't.
graphics on screen
right?
that show
Number
when you've
three,
chosen that shot, but the one
number
above
three,
it,
he has proven he's got moustache
that it is
distortion.
rectilinear in the area we're interested in.
Rubbish. Nonsense.
You can see it. Look, the fact those
no,
bars
you cannot get
are horizontal.
you cannot get a
fact they
half
are
rectilinear.
straight.
It's a curvilinear, and right in the center of the lens is where it's least distorted.
Correct.
That is it.
So that portion we can say.
So you were wrong,
around
Rumpus.
that area.
You were wrong for calling it a rectilinear
around
lens.
that area. Well, I was referring to the area we were looking at.
No, you said it removes all distortion, which is correct.
I agree. I could have been more. I could have qualified myself better, but because I was having great difficulty speaking, getting a word in on that evening, I wasn't getting a chance to make my point without
Poor
being interfered with.
baby.
But we can see now that the horizontal red bars are not distorted, except in very minor stuff. That therefore it's not a lens effect that's causing the curvature of the Earth. Therefore, we can say that the Earth is curved, and the lens is telling us exactly what does reflect reality in the center where we are looking. So the fact that it's distorted elsewhere with moustache distortion is irrelevant to what we're looking at. You're trying to get onto the subject of the lens being poor in other areas. The issue on the table is whether or not the curvature of the Earth is a function of the lens or not. And it's clearly not a function of the lens. Therefore, the Earth is curved, and you can detect it from 700 feet away, even with a crappy iPhone lens.
You suddenly went quiet, Gleam.
Yeah, Gleam, you went quiet.
Yeah, sorry. Why does it curve down here more than there?
That we explained that to you. It wasn't quite hard. That I was having to explain to Ranty, wasn't I? Yes, he doesn't understand that there are three things that have to be aligned here. There is the horizon, the bars, and the curvature of the Earth, and the camera. Now he has obviously not quite got the camera. He's actually got the camera aligned with the bars, but he hasn't quite got that aligned with the symmetrical about the curvature of the Earth. I mean, the fact that I'm having to explain this to you just demonstrates you
No.
are an idiot.
How do you
Well, I'm
align
explaining
with
it to
the...
you because you're an
If you were
idiot.
to, if he were to rotate those bars and the camera a little bit to the left, it would all line up. All that's happened is he's not quite lined up the
Nonsense.
camera.
Is there
and
no
the bars
curvature in
with
that
the lens.
direction? Well, how
'Cause
does
look,
that work?
This is a straight bar.
If you
And
didn't
it
know, so I said
bends
you're an absolute idiot,
also.
Brandon. I mean, it's very simple. There are three things to line up: the horizontal bars to line up with the camera and to line up with the curvature.
The horizon, you mean?
He's only got two of those things.
How could
things exactly.
he's
So
clearly
if he was
aligned
able-
with the horizon, Rumpus? What are you talking about?
Oh my God, you're a moron.
What
Right,
am I
he
missing?
has got the camera. He's got the camera lined up in an excellent way with the horizontal bars.
Okay.
The bars appear horizontal in this picture, but he hasn't quite got the bars and the camera aligned with the
Horizon?
curve of the Earth.
The
So
horizon.
it's very simple. So all he needed to do was to slightly change the bars and slightly change the camera, and then it would be perfect. The point is the curve is there. Whether or not the top and the right, the left-hand side and the right-hand side are exactly the same.
Rumpus, how can you be misaligned with the horizon? It's in every direction. It doesn't matter if the camera and the bars are aligned, and as long as the horizon is in front of you, as it always is, how are they not aligned?
Are you telling me, moron? Are you telling me if I turn a camera to an angle that won't cause the left and right hand portions not to be at the same height in the photograph? Do you not understand this?
Are you saying
I'm having
that
to explain something
turning
I
left
shouldn't
and
have to
right
explain to a
changes the curve
4-year-old?
of the Earth?
No, it hasn't changed the curve. It's just, you're complaining, I presume, that the edge on the right-hand side is slightly higher, well, quite a bit higher, than the left-hand side. That's presumably what you're moaning about here.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just a result of the fact the camera's slightly angled.
Were you there? He told you that, or
Jesus Christ! You do understand that if I rotate a camera, say at 45 degrees, the horizon would be then appearing 45 degrees in the picture. I mean, how can you be this stupid? You have got to be trying to be this stupid.
wait a minute.
To be this
If as long as you're looking outwards, it doesn't matter which direction. There's a horizon in every direction, correct?
I don't understand that Ben putting a camera
Does the
at an angle
curve go
causes
one way or something, or is this something
Oh
new?
God, you're a moron. You really are.
What am I
really
missing,
stupid, aren't
Gleam? Am I missing something, or
You are missing the fact you're a moron.
Try flipping
mean,
the balloon upside down and taking the picture.
Do you not
Then you'd have
understand
a
that if I were
bowl
to
for
put a
horizon.
camera at
Curve
45
up.
degrees, that the image would then look at 45 degrees when you put it horizontal like this? Do you not understand
45
that?
degrees along which axis?
I mean, this is just incredible. You're so stupid. I can't reason with you because you're so
You
too
can't
stupid
explain
to
yourself.
I've explained. Right. Do you understand? It's very simple. Okay, we're going baby steps. Do you understand if I was to hold a camera at 45 degrees that the horizon would angle much more than that and would be starting, say...
So you're saying the camera's tilted, twisted? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you flipping moron, you stupid moron. How many times do I have to say this?
You were saying direction. You were using the word direction, Rumpus. You said direction. You said direction. What does direction mean?
This one here, this picture here that I haven't seen before, you can see that he's got done a slightly better job of getting his camera to align itself to be horizontal, and therefore the horizon is more symmetrical.
Do you not see the distortion we see? I mean, it's so distorted, it's not even worth talking about.
I presume. Oh, no, I don't quite understand how he's done. Perhaps he did this with a different camera. This is obviously more distorted. I don't quite understand what's going on here.
This is his camera. I downloaded the original thing.
Yeah, I know, but the fact that he's getting different effects, means he's done something. Either got the camera in a slightly different position or something. Whatever.
That should make us second think relying on this as evidence, shouldn't it?
Have a picture. No, it shouldn't, because we have a picture where the bars are horizontal and they're aligned with the camera, but we've got a slight
as long as the distortion lines up for how you think the world is, then that's good evidence.
There is clearly this lens is not as good as it could be,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, you can see there's a gross curve here, and then there are some minor effects on the horizontal bars. We can see, another thing you seem incapable of doing is differentiating between random negligible errors that are not relevant and the big effect you're looking for. And you're just trying to find some tiny imperfection to somehow.
Well, no, a NASA scientist said they're not negligible. He says we should dismiss anything at this level because he can even with a DS.
Neil deGrasse Tyson again.
No, I am talking about the David K. Lynch who you said you was going to have a word with.
Oh,
remember?
Yes, in that paper. Yeah.
He basically said he could not. He used a DSLR, which is much better than an iPhone SE.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was on the top of one mountain at 10,000 foot and another mountain at 13,000 foot. He took photographs of each and could not detect a single bend of curvature. And you're 700 foot or 600 meters.
I haven't read that paper for 6 months. Are you saying in that paper he couldn't see any curvature in the shot that he took?
His actual words is, I could not convince myself.
Did he say that in the paper?
Yes. I could not convince myself that there was any discernible curvature.
Because he didn't. But he didn't analyze that in a graphics application, did he?
Oh my God!
He just did it visually. Yeah, he just did it.
He's analysing all his photos. He's got a photo there where he's doing the exact. Yes.
The guy from NASA doesn't know how to analyze data and information.
Look, let me show you.
I'm not impressed with that paper. I don't think he's not a.
I'm not impressed with you, Rumpus. You were shouting at us, calling us idiots because it was a rectilinear lens, and it is not.
I've been very calm. You've been very calm, Gleam. I don't know what's going on.
If you angle a camera, you're going to get an angled image. I mean, the fact that you've even raised that point suggests you're an absolute.
You said direction, you mung. I was trying to clarify what you meant. You can tilt a camera left, right. It has an X, Y, Z axis. You can point it in different directions.
I described that about 5 times, and you still didn't understand. So now you've picked up on it.
You didn't use the right words, Rumpus. It's your failure, not mine. You're not a very good communicator.
You're too stupid. I mean, you're willfully stupid.
Anybody who doesn't understand Rumpus is stupid, of course.
Yes, that's correct. Because I explain things very well.
Well, at least you admit it.
You've demonstrated you didn't even understand perspective the other day. You thought that things could change distance without changing in size. You didn't understand when I mentioned 45-degree angles of the camera. That was an angle of the camera. You wanted to misinterpret what I said, or because it
Rumpus's diaries.
Let's focus on what we're talking about here, and then some other time we can talk about perspective again. Go ahead, Gleam. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so in this paper, Rumpus, is that my mic a bit better? Or is it still low? Am I still low? Because I think...
You are quite loud now. You're quite...
Yeah, you're
loud.
Good. Yeah.
Loud. Let me move back.
Let me adjust you here, Gleam. Yeah. I can adjust you here.
Yeah. Adjust the volumeness, not your brightness. Adjust your brightness. Available now and in all good record shops online.
A good listen. Anyway. Good to sit back and drink some a beer with. Definitely. Go ahead.
People adjust your brightness.
Oh, right. Well, these pictures are taken with bloody clouds in it. Yeah, no wonder he wasn't convinced. And even though you can see it. So this is
are you mad? This is the one that he does his conclusion on.
Right, so you can see it. Yeah, so great. So he's shown that you can see it, right?
Oh, those bloody clouds! Imagine.
Yeah, well, he's making that difficult for himself.
Oh,
well, he obviously didn't go and get a good day here. So I mean, of the fact he's cloudless.
Oh, what day is cloudless?
You are aware that Rory's got clouds in his as well.
Well, not in those ones here.
You see here. I've analysed them. I've analysed the original.
Oh yeah, that's clouds.
They're all here.
They're
all here.
Yeah, well, it's not causing a problem. It's not
Are you sure?
Yeah.
As long as there's curve, it's nothing is a problem. Nothing.
Well, we had curve in the cloudy one as well. It's just, I mean, this one. I mean, if it'd been a proper, really made an effort, then he would have.
Name somebody else who's made this much effort.
What's this one he's got? Right, so he's just demonstrating barrel distortion here. Yeah.
He's demonstrating the contrast. He actually calculates all the sharpness of the difference of contrast. I mean, this is awfully in depth. I mean, it's probably better than your 3,000-page document. But shall we dismiss all this stupidity because you know better?
I don't think well, he's not made it clear he understands refraction in this, as I remember.
Are you mad? He is Andrew Thomas Young's mate.
No, he's not. You just said because he quoted Andrew Thomas Young. He is not.
No, he's his friend. He's his friend. I've looked it up. Look, he quotes it. I thank David Guterres, Lawrence Bernstein, and Andrew Young. Andrew Young, they was both in the same university.
Okay.
They are seriously.
That Gutierrez, right? That they've got a bit of a battle. Yes, Young doesn't approve of Gutierrez. He thinks he's a bit of a.
Leave away.
Hey, Rumpus, I've got to ask you about something before anything God forsaken happens and you leave. How is it coming with the canal observations, your, what do you call it, an experiment test?
Well, I've decided that I had one of my key help. I've got 4 key helpers, and unfortunately 2 of them couldn't make it this Saturday, which was going to be the day, and they're going to have to delay it by another week, and that means 2 of my other key helpers can't do it on the show. And given the fact that it's bloody cold, and I'm going to asking about 6 people to stand out in the cold for 6 hours, I've decided that I'm probably going to have to go and do it bloody next year
Poor
now.
baby.
Yeah.
Let's wait till next spring.
NHS
Rumpus.
shortages,
Well,
eh?
I don't think it's
We
fair on
don't
me
want
to
you
call
to
upon
freeze your
people to
booty
spend
off
6
there, poor
hours out in the
baby.
cold now, particularly as the
Poor,
daylight
poor
hours are
fellow.
bloody. Daylight, yeah, I mean, just you being a twat, Jimbo, of course.
Especially
So I
carers.
just don't think it's fair on me to expect people to stand out in cold weather for 6
Yeah.
hours now,
So-
particularly as the daylight hours.
So
I'll
when's
have
the
to do
next
it next
date?
year, annoying.
When,
Well, it will be whenever it gets up to where I can ask people to stand outside for 6 hours. without
basically
asking them
late
to stand
spring,
up.
probably at this point.
Early summer.
Yeah, it might be. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. annoyingly.
2024-ish, like when they're gonna land on the moon. About
Hopefully
It's
before that.
annoying. I mean, I had 2 people let me down. Unfortunately, the main problem I've had is that in the last 2 months, I've gone through 2 video producers who suddenly, when I asked them to do something,
We don't need to
immediately
hear
came-
all the excuses. Just
Well, like,
when
well,
you're
you're
going
gonna
to
get them
do it,
anyway,
you can
Jimbo.
talk half an hour about all the
You're gonna get them
excuses.
anyway.
Now
You're
it's
gonna get them
next
anyway.
month
Yeah,
or
I know
next
exactly.
year.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
good.
Hold on,
You don't
Jimbo.
have
I
to
did
hear
ask him what
Well,
happened, though.
next
I
spring.
did ask him what happened. You're right.
I'm just going to say that I
Yeah.
had 2 video producers, unfortunately, became very, very busy, which in fact delayed me by a number of weeks, and that was crucial.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for the update. Have your plans changed for the test at all, or is it still the same plan you described before?
I've got all the hardware now that I need, and I've got all the. I've built already built the biggest target. I've already got my location. I've got my hardware, my optical stuff, my computers, the auto levels, everything. And all the tool. Yeah. So it's all. But unfortunately, I didn't have a video producer in place. Alas, I should have been a bit pushier on that.
Did you figure out how to strap the 2x4s onto your vehicle, or get those?
I did indeed. I did work it out. Indeed, it is. I described it was the length of time it took me to strap them on, which was the problem.
Okay.
But I think I've got a few more strappy things on, and I think I could do it in under half an hour now. But I'm just very paranoid about shoving a bloody 15-foot bloody 2x4 through some car's bloody rear windscreen when I come to a halt.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah, I guess that is something to worry about.
space to bend it,
Yeah, you need some
bendy
length
space
contraction.
time you need some bendy space time to help you with that length of 2x4
We've already got bendy
on your
space
car.
time. We have that bendy
Not,
space time
not
now.
ready
yeah.
for your car yet in the 2x4.
if you travel fast enough, they will shrink. The wood will shrink.
Correct. Yes, unfortunately, that revolves against the speed of light, which unfortunately,
They'll
with my
go to
car,
the past, and when you hit the brakes, they'll be in the future already where you want them.
unfortunately, you can't travel. You can just slow down time. You can do that. You at least know some of the facts, Jimbo. Even if you know them, even if you don't understand them. So it's at least you're trying.
Yeah,
to do
we've all
something.
seen Back to the Future. We know about all that stuff.
Oh God, no, getting back in the past is not possible.
Hey, Rumpus, Ranty shared a couple images. I'm sharing in Discord again. And this is from Mage 2 as well, which is Mr. Sensible's balloon footage. Now, it is clipped a little bit, but I mean, you're seeing some really bad distortion in this one, up from the center or down to the end.
Yeah, with the wide cam distorts, it's got barrel distortion. We know this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what about this one? It's way above here.
He explained this at length. The fact that you didn't pick this up and you suddenly are offering me this image of the wide cam distorting, which we know has barrel distortion. I mean, this is. I mean, he made the very same point at the start. He said, "This is what happens when you see lots of people's images or video of going up in a balloon." And he showed at the start of his video, and he had it playing in the background, other people's wide-angle views, which we know suffer from barrel distortion. And then what do? You say, "Oh, look, there's this wide-angle thing that has barrel distortion." I mean, as if you think you're making a point.
Well, that's not what the first ones were they? Those weren't barreled. Those weren't the wide-angle lens. Those were the main lens. And those showed flat, so I think we can rely on those ones.
No, they showed curve. You just cherry-picked 2 that had the curve of the Earth at the very bottom of the screen. And even in that one, we can see that it's curved.
Well, what did he do? I mean, he didn't cherry-pick? I mean, what?
Look, I mean, I don't know whether you're being willfully stupid here or not, but let's just try. You do understand that if the image is in the center of the lens, you have least distortion. Do you understand that?
What about that one? That one doesn't look curved.
Let's go with this one at a time. Do you understand that if the image that you're concerned with is in the middle of the image, middle of the lens, then you get least distortion?
Like this one right here, because it's pretty much in the middle, right?
Let's stop trying to dodge the question. Do you understand that if the thing you're concerned about is in the middle of the lens, then you get least distortion of it? Do you understand that?
Well, the curve should
yeah,
match
yeah.
that guy's head almost.
Try it again. Do
Like
you
an
understand?
egg looking
that
over
if
an
the
egg.
middle
Hey,
of the
Rumpus,
lens,
I know you're trying
Yes,
to piss me
Rumpus.
off.
Yes,
It's not going to
move
work.
on.
But
No, I'm trying to
do
get
you
you to
understand
stop
that this is
deflecting
not good
and give me an
evidence?
honest answer.
Do you understand
Can
that
you give
this
me
is
an
not
honest
good
answer to my
evidence?
question?
Do you understand that we've
deflecting.
seen high altitude balloon footage before?
Yeah, not through
And
a
that it shows
lens.
all three,
This
flat,
is
concave,
brilliant.
convex. No one is
You see,
convinced by
I
this.
noticed it, everybody. Notice how he's dodged that
Do
question.
you
And because
understand that this is
because
not
it
good evidence?
exposed what
Do you
was
understand
done
that this is
earlier
not good
by
evidence?
picking on the curve at the
See how
bottom where
annoying
he
that is?
neutralised by the
He's rumpusing. He's not
It's
even
not
listening to
an
words you
inaction.
say. He's probably
Now
got you on
he's
mute
got
now.
an inaction.
This is
He
what gets
knows
you
the
kicked,
answer
Rumpus.
he's got to give is yes, and then he will have to accept that he cherry-picked images in the bottom half of the image, and therefore
Are
he
you
knows
actually
those are
listening to people, Rumpus?
again.
Like, are you listening to? Have you muted people here?
No, not muted anybody.
No muting.
You're not listening to anyone. Someone's
You're not
trying to
listening to me.
talk
I'm
to you, and
look,
you're just
I
talking,
know
not me, someone
you're
else.
trying to white knight bloody well, you're trying to cover up Brandon's behaviour here. You're
No,
accepting.
you're panicking.
You're
My
trying to cover up the
behavior.
fact that he will not answer my question because he knows he's being deliberately dishonest. He's either he's being deliberately deflecting. I mean, it's a dishonest behaviour. I never do this sort of thing. I always answer the question. Here,
You never
not
do. You
he's
never
not
answer a question, Rumpus.
because he
That's what
knows
you're
it'll
doing now. You're
expose
avoiding answering
it
anything.
out
That's a good
as
one.
being a dishonest action. He knows that if it's in the middle, it's not distorted, and he knows that if he goes to the bottom, it will be the curve will be neutralized. So he picked the areas, the images.
Why did Fight the
where
Flat
curve
Earth
is
use that
not-
one from the bottom? Why did Mr. Sensible use that one from the
do you
bottom? I
understand
don't
that if it's
understand.
at the bottom of the
That's
lens-
weird.
You don't understand. I think you understand that if you pick images where the curve is at the bottom, where the
Yeah.
image you're interested in the bottom, then it will bend the other way. And so you've picked those, and it's an act of it's dishonest. I mean, supposedly that's I mean, you're a twat, you're a moron, and now I thought you were just a moron and a twat, but now you're being dishonest. I didn't think you would.
I'm being
resort to that,
dishonest.
but
You're the one telling me the
are.
evidence that shows the curve is okay in the bottom portion of the focal area, but if it doesn't show curve, then it's obviously distorted.
It's in we've demonstrated the gray
Mhm.
line shows that there is barrel distortion in this image, so we know that's what's happening. I mean, you can't be this stupid, or perhaps you can. I mean, you're either willfully stupid.
So we know barrel
dishonest.
distortion is happening.
Yeah, we do.
That's what the grey line in the footage Mr. Sensible has shows there is a little bit of barrel distortion, and as the image you're concerned with goes further down the lens, then it will then become more U-shaped, following the barrel distortion properties of a lens.
Where's the test?
how
Because
can you
it's a
not
GoPro.
understand that?
You know it's a GoPro.
I didn't know what lens he used, but I know
You don't even know what
that
lens it is?
know that I can see that it's basically.
Why are you here
a
white knighting
GoPro.
for Mr. Sensible and Fight the Flat Earth, and you don't even know what lens it is?
The images show that he doesn't have much image barrel distortion. Certainly,
You
as
didn't
go
answer my
towards the
question.
central-
No,
Why don't you know what
Definitely hasn't.
lens it is?
I'll answer your question when you answer my question. When you explain whether or not you understand that there's less distortion in the middle. You answer that question, then I'll answer the one you've just asked me. You're not going to, are you?
Okay, fair
You're a
enough.
dishonest twat. You're a dishonest twat. Right. So yes, there is barrel distortion in Mr. Sensible's thing, but it's only slight, and obviously it gets worse towards the bottom, and that's why Brandon picked the images at the bottom. Now, I suggest what you do, Brandon, is go and pick some images with the curve at the top of the screen, top of the image, and then come back to us on that one. How about
Why
that?
did
That'd be
Fight
a
the
good
Flat
idea,
Earth
wouldn't
pick the one at the bottom, though? That's what I don't get. I'm confused about.
He did that because you still have curve there. So even though it's in the area, and I think actually Mr. Sensible did something similar, he deliberately picked the area of the image where you do get barrel distortion that would neutralize the curve, and you can see there is still curve. So even when the barrel distortion is against the curvature of the Earth, it still shows curvature of the Earth in the correct direction.
So that's an interesting story. I don't buy any of it, but
exactly that. He said in the original Saturday broadcast, he said he deliberately picked the area, a shot, at least one of the shots he demonstrated, in the lower portion of the lens, because he wanted to give the flat earthers every chance by picking the area in which the curve is still neutralized, and it's not. It's still there. It's reduced because it's in that area, because we know the grey line is slightly below the U shape. But so even with that bowing caused by the barrel distortion, it's still showing us a curve here.
Someone should tell Fight the Flat Earth about that.
Explain that to you. I mean, if you've watched, perhaps you didn't watch the video. He explained that's why he'd done it. He tried to give the flatties every chance by picking an image that was in the area where the barrel distortion would negate the curvature of the Earth, and yet we still have it.
And in the meantime, he admitted that his lens had barrel distortion. So,
but the lines we've got here show what the barrel distortion is doing, and we can see there. You don't accept that. You don't understand that's what these lines would demonstrate. You don't understand that.
No.
So those lines, the yellow and the blue, the grey lines, give an indication of what the barrel distortion is doing. And you can see that there's no barrel distortion, or very little bit on. There's actually probably a tiny bit, actually, even on that yellow one. There's slightly more on the grey line.
How close are these to the lens?
That's why he picked the image, in this case, at the bottom, because he wanted to give you every chance where the barrel distortion was negating the curve, and yet you still got
How close are these lines to the camera? Where are these located?
Give me 10 minutes.
That's irrelevant. It's the angular position that matters.
Hey guys, give me 10 minutes. I'm just going to post
a
a video in about.
I think they're about a foot away.
Sure thing, Ranty.
I'm going to post a video in about 10 minutes in the general chat that just refutes what Rumpus has just said. Then, so just give me 10 minutes.
Awesome. So you're saying the distance from the lens doesn't matter, right? And where is the horizon down here, Rumpus? That was what we were trying to figure out. Where do you say it is?
Well, obviously towards the right there, it's getting a bit blurry, but you can still see there's a curve there.
Tell me where I would stop this line right here. Do you see this on my screen? Like, tell me where do I stop it when the horizon? Where's the horizon?
That's obviously not a good image. I wouldn't pick.
Well, I blew it up so you could see as much as you possibly could.
But hold up. What you've done here is you've zoomed. See, is this being? I'm afraid
you zoomed in. Yeah.
Listen. You're being dishonest again, aren't you? Because what you've done is you've zoomed into the You've zoomed into the middle of the image in an attempt to confuse the issue about the horizon. Now you can see here when you've got the full image. You've zoomed into it to say,
stop telling me what I'm doing, and you're gonna piss me off. I'm trying to be nice to you to keep you around, but
you zoomed in an attempt to confuse the issue.
Just stop.
You zoomed in to confuse the issue.
Well, tell me where to stop it, Rumpus. Tell me where to stop it. Tell me when I hit the horizon. Okay, I'll start from up here. Well, you tell me when I hit the horizon.
Well, I mean, obviously you can see whereabouts, but it's not a good.
Well, just tell me where to stop. Just say stop.
I can't see it.
I'll indulge you, even though I shouldn't. I'll indulge you even on a poor image like this.
I'm waiting for stop.
Sort of here, right? Okay, sort of there.
Here?
Well, you've gone past it now. Well, you've gone past it now.
Okay, here I'll just click up so it's slow. Tell me when.
I mean, it's up there. So I mean, so you can see there is a slight. If you were to process this, if you were to do what I would do and increase the contrast, you would see that there is you can still see there's a bit of curve there, left to right, but it's a bit blurry. So I wouldn't pick this image personally. I'd pick another one where the horizon is not clear. I wouldn't use that image. I'd use an image where it's clearer. And you're deliberately picking a blurry image to confuse the issue.
Okay. I mean, you keep telling me my motives. You're going to piss me off. Just stop.
I mean, you pick on images in which the image is at the bottom. You pick on images where it's blurry, and there are other ones I can't remember exactly, but I'm sure they weren't all as blurry as that. So you're picking on ambiguous images.
What's all this stuff back here, like above? You said the horizon was somewhere around down here, right? What's all this?
That's what's all what? Do you mean the blurriness? It's all blurry. Yeah, it's blurriness.
It's blurry. Okay, but it kind of goes from white to lighter blue to darker blue. How did you identify that this was the horizon right here, Rumpus?
Well, when you zoom into this level, it's actually more difficult to work it out. You also need to do some color enhancement. I've done this when Rob Skiba did his high balloon flight. I spent days processing it and actually showing where the curve was that he claimed didn't exist. And you first of all have to do some color enhancement to see where the boundary is. You also obviously want to avoid portions of the image where there is cloud, and this seems to unfortunately have a bit of cloud in it in this particular state. And what you don't do is what you're doing here, and that's to zoom in where there's a very gradual change in color. But zooming in doesn't help. It's much better to go back to the view that you originally had in an attempt to find the
Almost
horizon.
like it's going off into the dark, or it's getting to the limit of your vision where you can't see.
Can I make an observation?
Yeah.
Can I make an observation? As soon as you get above a mile, above the clouds, basically, you are actually looking at the top of the clouds on the horizon,
Well,
not the actual not the actual. Wait there, not the actual physical horizon.
If
So
there's
this
a
is
cloud there.
well, this actual gradient, let's say, is the aerosols.
Well, you can get images that are much clearer than this. This is a particularly bad one you seem to have picked, of course, deliberately.
Have you got one that is good? Because that's all I see. I see these.
The one had portions.
No, on this one, because you're saying it definitely showed curve on this one.
I haven't. I've been so busy trying to do the finishing touches in my attempt to get to this thing this Saturday. I didn't have a chance. I didn't thoroughly examine old Mr. Sensible's image, so I haven't been through the footage. That one, yeah, I mean that's a bit better, but it's I mean, obviously he suffered here. Obviously in this country, in UK, we obviously have lots of cloud, and unfortunately, therefore, the images have clouds in them, which isn't helping. But the Rob Skiba one had clearer. I mean, there was a portion of his that had clouds in it, but there were other bits that didn't, and it was clearer. It was clearer than this. Now, I don't know if I might be.
This is rubbish. We shouldn't really be using this.
Oh, yeah, this is nonsense.
It's not. It's quite clear when there are definite portions of the video where it is quite clear it's curved. And then even here, if you were to draw this, if you were to color enhance it, you would see there is a curve. And I think you can see there is a curve here. And certainly some of the examples that
can't see any curve.
Not just the angle.
No, not the angle. No, I'm glad to see you understanding about the angle now. I'm glad to see you're picking up the angle as an issue, but that doesn't change the. Well, you can. Right, so there you are. You can see, for instance, a lot more blue on the right-hand side there than there is the left. When you move that line down, there you go. You can see that where you've.
I can see that it's perfect. Oh, you mean like right here versus right here? Is that what you're talking about? No, that looks pretty even to me, actually.
Well, that's because you're an idiot.
This might not be aligned 100% correct. It's definitely too close to call. I sure the heck wouldn't look at this and make any conclusions and say that I saw Earth curve. That would be ridiculous.
The curve there is absolutely obvious.
In this photograph, the curve is obvious.
Even here, you can see that line does not represent what the edge of the horizon. You can see that it's curved down towards the right. Even here, I mean, it's not super clear.
Come on, you can't be serious.
You can look. Can you not see at the right-hand side? There's a load of blue, and on the left side there isn't. You've got contact on the left-hand side, which I would agree is where you would put the horizon. And you can clearly see that on the right-hand side, it's gone above it, exactly what you would expect. And what's more, that curve exactly matches the prediction you can make for the height of the blue. Will give you that curve. And I've done calculations on this to create curves. For instance, the Rob
looks pretty fucking even to me, Rumpus. Right there, look at that. Oh my God. It's about even blue through here, even blue through there. I don't know. It's hard to tell. This isn't exactly science, is it? This isn't exactly science, is it, Rumpus?
I think you can make a very good. Well, you haven't got done any image analysis on it. You haven't increased the contrast, but you can. Any objective observer would say that
any objective observer.
Any objective observer would say that on the right-hand side, we have a load more blue at that point than we do on the left-hand side, where you have put it, and I would argue, in about the right place for what we can say is the horizon. But we can clearly see that on the right-hand side, there's a much bigger gap.
What if the sun's on the left-hand side, mate?
Well, we can see that.
Wouldn't it lighten it up a bit more?
We can see there's no difference in the color of the blue on the left and right-hand side, which is just in a different position. So that point's irrelevant.
Being further away from the sun. Less light, right?
Well, we can see there is no effect like that because we can see that the colors here are following a curve, and the same blue and things are on the right-hand side as they're on the left-hand side. There's not a color change here worth mentioning.
Contrast.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Hey, Rumpus.
Hey, so how are you, Ranty? Have you recovered from all your operations and things?
I'm getting better. I've not recovered, but
okay. But you're on the mend, are you?
On the mend, yeah.
Okay, all good.
Okay, right. So listen, the question's pretty simple because you said earlier that once you went to a certain altitude, just before the balloon popped or whatever, and with the wide angle lens, what have you, I
didn't mention anything. All the things you've just said, I never mentioned anything about just getting towards before the balloon pop. I've never mentioned that any sentence in this hangout. So you've just made a load of stuff up.
Well, I would assume it would be just before popped because you were talking about the higher up you went, you could see the curvature of the Earth, and you said it didn't matter which way the balloon was moving, the camera was moving, or anything like that. It was just showing this curvature of the Earth, and I said I would do a video to disprove that.
Okay, well, the trouble is, although you get up higher, there's more curve. Unfortunately, the blurriness increases, so there's unfortunately two competing effects. But yeah, go ahead, make your point.
Okay, so I'm just going to upload a video now, if Brandon wants to play it, and then I'm going to step out and let you guys crack on with it. It's I've just posted it right now. It's just as the balloon pops. Basically, you see the original speed, then it slowed down 50%, then slowed down 33%, and you get around about a 3-second clip of each. So it's the same 3 seconds just repeated over. And what you're going to see here is the video of that wide camera. What happens when when it pops? You're going to see what happens.
Wide camera.
You're going to see what happens when it pops, because ultimately, if it's if you're in height, it shouldn't make any difference. Should it? Hold on.
Shots from the wide-angle camera, wide-angle lens. What's the point of showing us that? We know it's got huge barrel distortion.
But it didn't have barrel distortion when it was just getting up to a certain altitude, and it just seemed to show constant curve downwards, right? Hold on. Again. For like 10 minutes, right? Okay.
Oh.
But as soon as the balloon popped, and then the camera started moving around, yeah, then you get to see a bit of difference, don't you? Anyway, I'm going to step out and I'm going to let you guys discuss this.
All right. Thanks, Ranty.
No idea what he meant then.
All right, I'm sharing it on my screen. Let's take a look at it. Let's see what he meant.
I mean, the fact that he's picking on the wide camera just makes it irrelevant.
Well, are you going to pay attention? Yeah, you got to pay attention.
Right, did we just see? Hold on. Could you just go back by a couple of frames? And there. Sorry, could you do back by one frame? One bit more. Go back a bit. Right, I'll try and say. Could you just slowly, and then can you be ready to click stop for me, please? So, right, no. So get ready to stop it. And right, one frame at a time, preferably. And so there we have. Right, okay. So there we have it. Right, okay, keep on going. And keep on going. And keep on going. One, and nearly there. Keep on going. Oh, I thought it was. Keep on going.
Oh.
Right, stop. Right, now, so we just saw there the shape of the Earth and the value of this camera, and there we have suddenly we have a convex Earth. I mean, so there's no point in analysing these images at all with this camera view. So I don't know what Ranty thinks he's doing. He's just feeding us what we know. The wide angle lens is doing. Giving us an image of what the wide angle cam does is absolutely I mean. Yeah. Just stupid. I mean, I suppose. I mean, I wouldn't say it's dishonest. He's being very stupid. So we can just ignore this crap.
Well, let's watch the whole thing though. Let's see what happens.
So I mean, there we got a convex, concave Earth flipping out. Who cares what it does? It's not giving us a objective view of what's going on. I mean, this is the whole point of why he had the least the minimal barrel distortion on the other lens. I mean, I don't know what Ranty thinks he's showing us here, except the fact that there's a barrel distortion. I mean.
The sun does look pretty cool, though, doesn't it?
I mean, what does Ranty think he's shown here, except the fact there's barrel distortion? I mean, it's just incredible.
That's not 93 million miles away, obviously.
This is quite stupid. Even
Can you stop whining, mate?
Well, I mean, I'm just demonstrating that this is. If you think this is an argument, I'm just pointing out that we've had Brandon refusing to accept that he knows that he accepts that in the middle of the lens you get the minimum distortion, and we've had you blathering away about that paper. Incorrect.
But at the edges of the lens, you get distortion, Rumpus. And I am not agreeing with your blanket statement about the middle of lenses having least distortion. The edges of the lens have more distortion, do they not, Rumpus?
Yes, they do.
And where do you see that? Where do you see it curve at?
Where do I see it? In this image you're talking about now? We're looking at now. You're talking about.
No, we'll go back.
Sorry, what's the question?
We'll go back to the images. I don't want to take us back there.
Right, so I mean, this is just irrelevant. What you're showing on screen here. I mean, just if Ranty thought that was an argument, I mean, he's being more stupid than usual. Right. So anyway, if we understand that the other angle camera, which also has the advantage, of course, of showing us the two lines across the screen, show what the barrel distortion is doing. So with the fact that we can see that there's a slight bowing in the bottom of that line in the narrow angle.
Yeah, I don't think those do show what the barrel distortion is doing, to be honest with you.
That's right. That was the other stupid thing you were saying, wasn't it? You didn't understand that.
No, it's not that I don't understand. No.
I don't understand. You asked the question, does it make a difference whether and how far away the thing is you're looking at? Are you implying by that the things further away presumably are bent than the things closer? No, it's the position and the lens that determines whether they're bent or not. The barrel distortion effect has nothing to do with how far they are away. A light coming from a distant thing from a particular angle has exactly the same operation in the camera lens as something that's close to you but coming in at the same angle. And the fact you clearly don't understand this, or you're dishonestly representing it, either way, you're either stupid or deceitful. But don't really care.
Intensity plays a part.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean,
anyway.
If you were asking me that question and you don't understand the most basic thing about optics is that it's the angle that comes into the lens. It doesn't matter how far something is away. The lens just treats those things hitting the lens in the same way, whether they came away from 1 foot away or 3 million miles away. It's only thing that matters is the angle it hits the lens, and you clearly don't understand that.
Or attenuation.
Or you wish to. We're not talking about the brightness, Gleam. We're talking about the refraction, the focusing of it. The attenuation is another issue and completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter whether it's something's brighter or darker. That doesn't change how it behaves.
Anyway, how do we know that this isn't moustache distortion on the bottom half of the lens, mate? That's what I just want to get to.
Even in this image, you can see there is a slight curvature. And the fact that this is in the area of the lens in which the curvature would be negated means that there must be a concave.
No. Why must it be? It could be a moustache. What is moustache?
We can see from the grey line. No, this has not got. I don't. Well, we haven't seen actually. We haven't had
exactly. No, this is what I'm getting at. You dick.
Right, but you moron. We can see there is a bit of barrel distortion from the behaviour of the grey line.
So there's distortion,
which would negate the curvature in the thing we're looking at the bottom.
Not if it's moustache distortion at the bottom, at the top.
Yes, we would.
No, not at all.
Yes, you don't understand how moustache distortion works. It's incorrect. No, it
bends it down at the edges and the bottom half of the fucking lens.
No,
I know exactly how it works.
No, you don't, because moustache distortion operates all parts. It's not as though it just happens up and down.
Do I need to bring up Rory's test card?
Yeah.
The test card shows that he has barrel distortion, as in normal barrel distortion, and he has pin cushioning going on near the center of the lens. Then as you move down the frame, he's got moustaching going on. He's got all three effects going on in the lens. So why, or put it this way, number one, Brandon's made a good point about the contrast. No one's actually gone through and measured the contrast change and found out exactly where the hard line surface is. I don't think you see it, and neither does Brendan and Fraser.
Even in this image, it's implied it's very good, but there are better ones that do show it more clearly.
Either way, I'm just summarising. So there is an issue there, and Mr. Sensible and Fight the Flat Earth have not done that calculation. They've not done the calculation of how many pixels that were expected. All they've done is got Walter to put it in his calculator and overlay it and pretend that it's even all across the thing, and it isn't. And then number three, third and final, no one's tested the lens. I haven't seen a test card of the lens, albeit it's supposed to be very distortion free. We can understand that it definitely has distortion.
I would agree. So that was an omission on part of Mr. That's something I would have done. I mean, yes, the fact that he did that is, but he can do that subsequently. But the point is that we can see what the distortion is because we've got these two straight lines.
We can't. We've just established that. You're wandering off now.
Because we've got the two straight lines, we can see that where there is a bending down here, which is an exact would negate the curvature, which is in the opposite direction.
In normal circumstances,
the fact we've got that means that we know that this can't be straight, because a straight thing,
we don't know,
would be bent like that grey thing is. And in fact, it's not. It's bent the other way, and that's why Mr. Sensible particularly picked on one of these images where the horizon was in the lower portion to demonstrate, to give the flatters that every chance by putting the curve, by putting
could be moustache in there, mate.
Point where the thing would be negating the curve, and we still have curve. And even here, you can still see that it is actually still curved, because you can see that the middle,
I see no curve.
sidewinding.
Zero
touches
curve.
the white line, and the edges are, you can see on the sides don't. So
You're
therefore,
totally
we even
sidewinding.
have curve. We
So
even
this
have
can
curve
never be
on the
moustachian, but he's never tested for it. Yeah, is that what you're saying? It's definitely curvature because he's never tested for
You
moustachian.
can see from the grey line what the lens is doing, and it negates the curvature.
Are you going to confirm that for me, sorry, Rumpus?
We still have
Rumpus?
curvature despite negation cause, which we can see the barrel distortion with the grey line demonstrates that would negate the curvature, yet we still have curvature.
And that could be moustachian, couldn't it?
No, that's just barrel there. This portion of the lens is clearly just barrel.
No,
Well,
the bottom part. You
down-
haven't
down
tested it,
down
have you?
the bottom, obviously, that's where the moustachian would occur. But nonetheless,
Yes. So listen, Rumpus. If you don't, if you're saying on one hand we know it's curve, but you haven't tested for something else that could make it look like curve,
the
you're
moustachian
pretty
would-
stupid, aren't you?
You're the stupid one. If you think that the moustachian,
How am I stupid when you're not testing for all effects that could affect the fucking science?
we know when the horizon is in the
No,
middle.
stop saying we know, because you don't know fuck all, Rumpus.
Otherwise you don't know anything
Stop.
about optics at all. In the
I
middle,
do know more than you, mate.
No, you don't. You've definitely know nothing about anything.
You're
When
sidewinding moustachian.
the images are in the middle, we get a fine curvature, and even just now in that image,
We all know this.
we can see that there's still a little bit of curve, even though it's in the portion of the lens which is subject to barrel distortion or other distortions which are causing it to negate.
No, you changed your wording then. You went from just barrel distortion to then and other distortion. And that's bullshit, because we know moustachian can cause that effect.
No, we do not know that. Demonstrate
We
that.
do. Okay, I
Demonstrate.
just showed it on bloody things. It bends down on both the curves.
Moustachian could cause
Right,
that.
share screen. Share screen.
That doesn't look like curvature though.
Well, again, this is with a crappy wide-angle lens, isn't it? So we don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, actually, the fact that passing through the center is actually indicative of that is a genuine thing.
How about this one?
Moustachian right at the bottom.
And that one there, if you put a line along that, I'm sure that would.
Oh, let me share, Liam.
Sorry.
No, my fault.
Am I supposed to be looking at Gleam's thing now?
Yeah.
See how it creates a curve in the middle? At the bottom of the lens. This is at the top.
Right, but this is...
This is Rory's iPhone, where we were just talking and saying...
Right, but this is not the lens. You can see this is actually...
No, it's a different lens.
So moustachian causes things to actually invert in multiple ways, and that actually was a bit of barrel distortion.
Look, Rumpus, you just told me this didn't happen. And then you said, yes, it does happen. And then you said, we haven't tested for it. And then you said, we know it's not this. Bullshit.
Why don't you overlay that if you can? Well, if you can,
You're winging it.
Look at with the grey thing, which bends out, and you'll see that does not match the moustachian effect that you're claiming. So therefore, it's not moustachian. It's just got barrel distortion. So we
Nonsense. You're just talking words.
So can I interject with something?
You haven't invalidated anything. You have to do the test. Yes, you have to do
Can I
the
say
test.
something?
You go away and do it.
No, final point. The moustachian you've
Glenn.
just
No,
shown,
one second.
hold on.
Liam.
The moustachian that you've just shown us with Rory's camera does not match the bending of the grey line.
Show me. Show me, you've come to that conclusion without just winging it and saying it like Harry Potter.
But you just saw the way that the grey line was bending, was bearing in a classic barrel
Oh, so
distortion.
we're just going to do this on soaring. So the black swan proves Earth is flat because we saw it. Yeah.
The image we were just looking at with the grey line was bending in a classic barrel distortion fashion, which did not match your example of moustachian. So therefore, we know
It did. It did.
Exactly,
because it was barrel distorting in the middle.
It did not match.
Let me share my screen again. You're such a liar. You're winging it so much.
You're just a moron. You don't even use it
in the middle. Look, in the middle, it's pretty much straight.
Okay,
yeah, it's pretty much straight.
Yeah, we're not. We were talking below. Oh my god. Let me try this again.
And then below and above, it's got barrel, and then it severely moustaches right at the bottom and severely moustaches at the top.
Stop trying to dodge the issue. If
it
we go
isn't.
Scroll to the middle, and
That's
you will see that moustachian causes things to bend up. But that's not what we saw in the images from Mr. Sensible's video. It was bending down. The grey line was bending down.
It's barreled here. Let me show you.
God.
You know the three effects.
If you were to put that alongside the image we were just looking at, you would see that it's exactly the opposite of what Mr. Sensible doing. So therefore, what your claim of moustacheing is wrong. My God, I mean, you've got that memory of a goldfish.
You're mad. I said it could be.
But it's not, because moustacheing does what you've just said it did in the Rory images, and that does not match what was going on in Mr. Sensible's video.
Mr. Sensible has distortion, yes or no?
In the lower portions of the image, yes, but near the center, it wasn't distorted, as demonstrated by, for instance, the yellow line.
No, I just wanted a tick. Yes, it is distorted. Now, is there own... No, wait, calm down. We're getting to that bit. Calm down. Keep your knickers on. Right? Is it a combination of all three of these, or two of these, or just one of these? Are you telling me it's just barrel distortion?
It is looking like it is just barrel distortion for the moment, unless you've got there's no evidence at the moment to have anything other than that.
Okay, have you tested that?
And barrel distortion and moustache distortion.
Have you tested that?
Can claim.
Have you tested that?
Have you? You're
No,
claiming.
I have not. You're claiming to know something about this.
You are claiming that's moustache distortion. We can see from the grey line that's not the case.
Do you know something about it?
I can.
Do you know something about it?
I can see on the screen the grey line is bent with barrel distortion and not pincushion distortion.
So there is distortion.
Yes,
Okay, so you're saying you know there is barrel distortion, but you don't actually know whether there's pincushioning or moustacheing going on.
There is no pincushioning because the grey line demonstrates.
You know that. You know that.
We can see it on screen. The grey line demonstrates that.
But can pincushioning take place in other parts of the lens?
Well, it's going to be more exactly the further you go down. The grey line was about, what, 1/3 the way down the lens?
So Rumpus, I'm trying to establish.
But in fact, it's not. It's doing barrel distortion. So it's not doing the things
So just barrel distortion. You can only have barrel distortion, and then you cannot have the other two, or a combination of all three.
Can you
Is that what you're telling me?
Just look at what the moustache distortion does.
Can you not give a straight answer?
Well, it's obvious there's barrel distortion. There is no evidence of any moustache distortion.
Okay, we're all clear with that.
There's no pincushion distortion. And we can see there's barrel distortion because
that is not my question. You're answering a different question. The question I'm answering is asking.
Yeah, try getting it right.
If there is barrel distortion, does that mean? No, hang on. Yes, we're all in agreement, and you don't need to panic anymore because we agree on that. Now, okay. Now. There is barrel distortion. No, hang on. Why do you have to throw your knickers out every time? There is barrel distortion in the middle of moustache distortion here. Okay, so how do we know that it isn't just a product of moustache distortion? And the lines we're seeing are these bendy bits here and these bendy bits here. How do you know for certain? And I mean 100% certain, because you're acting 100% certain.
The dominant effect there was barrel distortion, which negates the curve.
No.
Even though, I mean, look at in that top image where it says barrel distortion, you can see the effect of barrel distortion. We saw that what the grey line is doing, and even with pincushion distortion, it's still the dominant thing is barrel distortion.
Forget pincushion. Look, barrel distortion bends it at the bottom, yeah, bends it at the top. That is what we see. Yes.
Right, but the fact that in the images we can see
moustache distortion does the same.
Okay, I'm going to give you a reason why there isn't pincushion distortion going on.
Forget pincushion, you knob. I'm on about moustache.
There isn't pincushion distortion.
Oh, I'm on about moustache. Why are you talking about pincushion?
Now, why do you keep right? And I'm trying to explain to you why.
Look at the pincushion. It does the same thing as the barrel distortion. It makes it curved on the bottom bit and curved on the top bit. Now, forget fucking pincushioning.
It does it the opposite way, you twat.
Look, it does not bends down.
Right, listen.
Look, can you not see?
Yes,
bending
I can.
Down, and this one bends down.
When
stop being a spaz.
When the image was in the center, we could see the curvature clearly. The images that Brandon has particularly chosen not to show us.
Not clearly.
So we know that that's where the neutral thing is. And then we can see that when it goes down, that the curve becomes less. That's exactly consistent with the barrel distortion. And even in this image of moustache distortion, again, the dominant feature is the barrel distortion, the curving down. And that cannot account for introducing curvature below, so this introduces with moustache distortion. This again would give you the inverse effect of curvature, yet we are seeing the correct or
we don't see curvature below. We don't see curvature at the horizon is lower in the frame.
That one you're just showing us about 5 minutes
No,
ago.
it didn't
20
show
minutes ago,
that. It didn't show
when
any
you
curvature.
compressed it still showed the very slight curvature.
No,
but it
it
certainly
didn't.
didn't show it being it certainly didn't show it being convex, which is what the moustache
I,
distortion would do.
I got to tell you, I think that's confirmation bias on your part, Rumpus. I'm being serious. I'm being genuine and honest.
You can't use your eyes properly. You just can't use your eyes properly. We've demonstrated the fact that you dodge questions. You refused to say earlier whether or not things were distorted, least in the center, and you therefore would have to accept that you picked on the images when the horizon was at the bottom. You still haven't admitted that's what you've done. And even there, if there was moustache distortion, then it would curve upwards like this, but it's not doing that. It's still curving down. And even if you want to put the most sympathetic flat earther observation, it's flat. So we're not seeing moustache distortion, but we can see from the grey line that there is barrel distortion, which would negate the curve, yet we still see a little bit of curve in that image that showed about 3 or 4 minutes ago when you compressed it up.
So it would negate the curve, would it?
Yes,
so we know there's barrel distortion, and it would negate the curve. You're saying.
So let's look at where you got there. Yes,
so you're saying the curve is double.
No, it's not. Oh my God! Just try and focus where you've got your little pointer there. If there was a straight line, it will be bent upwards. The fact that we still see a curve, a concave curve, even though it's in the portion of the image that Brandon particularly picked on at the bottom, where he knew that effect was presume he understood that this is what it would do. We still have a slight curve, a concave curve. So the fact that even though we know there's barrel distortion from the grey line that's in there, we still can see a curve means that there is a curve there.
You mean it's cancelled it out and then gone further?
Made it smaller. It's made it smaller than it, because when it's in the middle, when Mr. Sensible did stuff within the middle of the images, it was very obviously curved, and the curve is slightly less because of the barrel distortion, which we can see in the grey line. We can therefore see that the curve is less, and as Brandon picked on images where the curve is slightly less, so he's a bit more ambiguous than because he didn't pick on images in the center, so it's behaving exactly what we would expect to see with barrel distortion, and we can see that from the grey line that it's got barrel distortion.
Yeah, calm down. So from here, we'd say really in reality then this would the middle part really should be flat, and then this should be slightly curved.
If it was flat, it would be bent upwards, just like the grey line.
No. I'm saying with a globe behind
the grey line in the image is bent upwards. So if the Earth was flat, it would be bent upwards.
No. On a globe, it would make the middle bit more flatter. It would no. Why you keep changing the topic to everything?
No, I'm not.
Everything but what I'm asking.
Right, the barrel distortion which is visible in there because the grey line.
We were talking about a globe here. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Which means that the barrel distortion would make this portion flatter. Yeah. And then this curve less.
But it was still curved. Yes.
No,
That's
listen.
What I've been saying for the last half hour.
Oh my God! But what you also said right at the beginning is listen.
Negating the curve. It was negating the curve to some degree.
Yes, and what you also said is it also matches the mathematics on Walter Bisling's model, and I know he doesn't use barrel distortion on there. You dick.
I wasn't referring to that image, you little moron, you little lying twat.
He's done it.
No, he
Walter
wasn't
Bisling have done it.
He wasn't using the image where the curve was at the bottom of the screen. He matched against the prediction from that Chilean guy when it was in the middle.
No, it's not the Chilean guy. This is from Mr. Sensible's recent video. He's done it already. Show me this one. Show me this one that you're on about with Mr. Sensible, where it's in the middle of the screen. Because all I've seen is Fight the Flat Earth present one that's identical to the one that Brandon's got.
The original, the one he broadcast on Saturday, which was his 20-minute video, which he summarized what had happened. He then showed the curve as done by the Chilean guy against his image. And the image, as I remember, was in the middle of the screen. So that's the one that I'm talking about. So as we know that there is barrel distortion on this video, we can see that from the grey line, and therefore it's negating the curve. So the reason Mr. Sensible showed that was to say, even in the area of the lens where we would expect to see the negation of the curve, we can still see the curve. That even proves it further, because he picked the most flat Earth favourable scenario to show you.
What a bunch of nonsense. Hey, Rumpus.
But he didn't use that image to compare it against what the Chilean guy said the curvature was. As I remember, that was when the curve was in the middle.
Can you look at my screen real quick, Rumpus? Ranty wanted me to show you this image.
Yeah, so this is another wide-angle lens, isn't it? Yeah, so exactly. This is making my point again. I mean,
Banana
it's
Earth.
reinforcing my point.
Banana Earth.
This camera is the one that points up at the balloon, and this is a wide-angle camera, as demonstrated
And
by
it
the
clearly
fact
shows that the Earth is a banana.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying his video that Ranty, the point that Ranty is making, is absolutely pointless because he's playing into the barrel distortion of a wide-angle lens. So we don't want to look at the wide-angle lens footage, yet he seems insistent on doing it.
Exactly. Banana Earth confirmed.
Right, yeah, with a wide-angle lens, moron. So we don't use the wide-angle lenses. We use the rectilinear lens or ones that are close to being rectilinear. I mean, how stupid are you being here?
Pretty
stupid. How stupid are you being here? Showing that there's barrel distortion and then pretending
barrel distortion instead of focusing on the ones that are with the barrel distortion is at a minimum.
What about
like
this one?
Here.
It's pretty minimal, yeah. I mean, what about this one?
Well, okay, let's draw a line then. Let me do a screen grab of this so I can do some. Let me do something on this side. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, you can just look at it, can't you see? It's not curved.
This is you can never rely on that. You have to do some image analysis. I mean, you go with what you can see, right? So let's go and grab that. So okay, whoops, I got that into my wrong document. Oh god, which is now going to auto save. Hold on, I'm just going to stop this from bloody auto saving.
Oh my god, we're going to be an hour.
No, I want to hear the process. The process is important.
Okay, so I will now do some image analysis on a new document.
Let me read some super chats while you're getting that ready. Rumpus, give me a minute here. We've had some kind people. Let's see here. Aaron Armstrong. Can you ask Travis how he spells his chess username, please? Travis, you still around?
Yeah, I typed in an invitation to him, but my name is all one word, Flat Earth Master.
Oh, you said that before too, didn't you?
I did, but I didn't say it was all one word.
Okay. There you go, Aaron. Flat Earth Master. Good servant with the 99-cent sticker. Oh, that was $5 from Aaron. Thanks, Aaron. Good servant with the happy face. 99 cents. Thanks, good servant. Silent Zero. Tell Rumpus that flat earthers will gladly help him. Yeah, we are here just to help you, Rumpus. I mean, honestly. We are concerned about you. So Silent Zero is here to help too. Gordzilla 37. Rumpus, without pause or shame, looks at a straight line and says, "It looks curved." Globers, welcome your champion. I think that's a compliment. He called you their champion, Rumpus. And Super Flurf. I flat smacked 4 teenagers last night. The children get it. Time to move forward for them. Well, that's cool. Young people are freer of the mind, I think. Some of them, at least. All right, whenever you're ready, Rumpus. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the super chats. You ready? No?
Yes.
Rumpus, I'm watching the whole video and he's doing a 360 and the whole horizon is at the bottom and it's all cloudy like that. I don't know where you got that from, that he got a clear bit.
Okay,
I think that he's trying to find the exact frame that he needs right now.
No, I'm not actually. I'm just I'm being slightly confused by that image.
Let's see what we got going out in the chat. WS says, Gleam, Brandon, great work by you guys. All the Flurfs have incredible work. Nice job. Thanks, WS. Appreciate that.
I'm just going to look for this Mr. Sensible thing he did where so I can see if this Chilean guy where he did the
How long was he Chilean with him?
Hey, Gleam, a little while back, did you say don't puke to Rumpus?
Yeah, he was sounding as if he was going to seriously rewind it. He was good.
You did sound a little rough there for a minute, Rumpus. That was pretty funny though.
Seems really good.
It's okay.
Yeah.
He's got carers. They just can't go out.
It happens. Well, who else have we had join? Well, he's getting that ready. A bunch of people. Flat Earth Data, I know you tried to speak up there for a minute. I'll give you a chance to jump in here pretty soon here. Gently's channel. Hi, Rockwell. Patient Zero. Aaron, what's up, man? Rakia. Rob Keane, I might have been here earlier. And SC Montreal. What's up, guys?
Can you hear me?
You really, a lot of wind noise, but yeah.
I got the worst microphone. Sorry, guys. I'm out. I'm on mute.
Yeah, where'd you get that? Is that like one of the originals? Stole it from the, what's that guy's name who invented the radio? The Marconi Museum?
No, I'm in a paint shop.
Oh, okay. Cool, man.
Right, so right, so this is a grab. Let me just share this. Where's the bloody? There we go. Oh no! No, I didn't mean to do that. Where's the share screen option gone?
On the second tab. Are you sure you know how to use this thing?
I seem to be missing out the. Perhaps that's the.
Silent Zero offered his help. You want me to
there we
get
go.
him?
Sorry, right, there we go.
Okay.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Right. Yes, for some reason. God, I've been using so many of these bloody things recently. I haven't. Did that come through? No, it doesn't seem to have. Yes, I mean, so you're being an obnoxious twat here, Brandon. Well done. Showing this.
Huh?
Good man.
No, we're seeing your screen. Don't worry about that. It's out on the.
Oh, whoops! I didn't know you were ready. Sorry about that, Rumpus.
Shut up, you twat.
Yeah, you're a twat. I mean, this Brandon just demonstrates what you like. Right. So I am sharing this, aren't I? Yes.
It's an autoplay, by the way, Rumpus.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Right. So I haven't. So here's a screen grab from.
Why is it in the bottom? Why does it look all that cloudy?
Well, I must admit,
you
the
cherry
images
picked this.
are mostly, I must admit, I'd agree on most of the bottom. This is happened to be one. I only had a chance to scan it.
Oh my God.
But nonetheless, this is at 20:41, 20 minutes 41 seconds. If people are interested, so let me write that down on this. So
2041. Okay.
2041.
That's a nice different color blue.
So this is at 2041 in the Saturday, image. Right, so let's go and see what this looks like.
Okay.
Right, so.
Rumpus, you know it says the time down there.
Oh, it does actually, doesn't it? Yes, good point. I wondered if I grabbed it without it. Just making sure. Right, so there we are. Let's just try and. Move that
so we just slap a line wherever we think it looks.
Well, do not. Yeah. Okay, you tell me where you think when
I thought you was doing all this analysis. Come on, do some high pass filters and shit like that.
That.
Keep us entertained. Anyone can smack a line on it.
Need to do a transform.
It's up. It's up more. You gotta straighten it up.
Would you like to tell me where you think the
horizon... do a high pass filter and I'll let you know straight away.
No, just tell me where you think it is. Oh, Brandon, perhaps you'd like to tell me where.
Sure.
Would you like
I thought you were doing analysis, mate.
No, I don't need to. It turns out I don't need to for this image.
Up, right there.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Up, right there.
Okay, you're being serious.
I am being serious. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, this is the particular color where we've got a sort of blue to green transition. So I'm going to say where it goes from blue to green, we have the transition. So let me now try and wiggle this straight line and see if I can make it. So there, I'm wiggling it around the center where it's still made. Then you can see there's nothing I can do that will not show that there is a curve here. So
why didn't you put it where I told you that I thought the horizon was?
I don't know, because you're being a twat. So
no, I was being serious.
We can clearly see. Well, okay, in which case you're a moron. I'm going to ignore you.
Okay.
So we can clearly see this green band here and reflects, and on the right-hand side here, we can see there's a great wad of blue.
Yeah.
There's no blue where I've put the middle of it. And there you can see a very, very, very clear curve. And let's just see if
first of all, so what?
I need to ask a question.
Well, what do you mean, so what? We're looking for curvature, and there it is.
No, that's
we can't even see the horizon, though, Rumpus.
That's just missing cloud.
I mean, that's just incredible.
That's why I said the horizon was further up.
So what if it shows curvature? Yeah, just do that. Oh my God.
That's not curved. It's cloud.
So I'm now going to do a mod matches where the let's see. No, in fact, it's lower than that, isn't it? Actually, where the green.
Yeah, it's bending oddly. That's not right, Rumpus. You
So-
cannot get it, so it's tilting.
So there we go. So that following where the
Where the
white
what
to green,
is.
I'm trying to do the white to green transition here.
Why?
So I mean,
But then that wouldn't be right, because on the right-hand side, you've got a big leakage, and that's what it is. It's clouds. The white bit's the clouds, the
it's
under
quite
bits.
clear. It's
sea
quite
and-
clear where
and-
the green band is, and there's
It's
another.
not clear
and
at all,
The
Rumpus.
blue band hit. I mean, my God! I mean, you're just denying the evidence of your eyes here.
Show
Why
us
is the blue band
hyperfilter
straight?
in
Yeah,
your-
let's see how curved that blue band is. Go across the color from there, Rumpus. Go across one of the blue colors up there, where I said the horizon is.
One second. Let me just say. So I'm now here matching
Yeah.
the blue to the light blue transition as well, and that's also.
No. I want you to go across the blue band.
What do you want me to do?
Like the middle, where it's blue up above. Yeah, like right there. Draw a straight line right there. Make that
Draw a
line
straight
straight.
line,
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. Whoops. Oh God. Sorry.
That's all right. Okay.
Straight that line. I'll just extend
All
it.
right.
Just
Yeah, and then
it.
extend it to the other side if you could.
I will.
There we go. Make sure it's nice and straight.
Oh, it's snapping for some reason. Why is it doing that? Okay.
There we go. That
Right,
looks
so
good to me.
Well, in which case, I mean.
No, I mean, it looks correct, though. Look at the blue around it. It looks right.
If you think that in any way matches what the curved green section, or
Is it
in
at
fact the
0
blue-
degree? It looks like it's a
Can you
little
not- can you not see?
crooked on the right, but yeah, it looks pretty straight. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you think, I mean, we can just forget anything you ever have
There
to
we
say.
go.
If you can't see that there's a curve here, I mean, you're just so biased. I mean, you've got your religious views, obviously.
You asked me where the
blinding you.
horizon was. I can't see the horizon. You think the horizon is the end of this white where it goes into the blue, but how do I know that? How do you know that?
Even if you don't accept it, all of the geometry of what we're looking at is matching something that's curving. The green bar, where I showed the blue, the similar.
First of
blue
all, the
color
scale
bar.
of what we're looking at, that doesn't even make sense because we're only like, what, 1 millimeter above the beach ball? So that doesn't make any sense.
That's gibberish. No
You
idea
think
what
that's a
mean.
hard edge? You think that's hard earth edge right there that we're looking out into space,
No,
and
it's
that's what
not-
the
no,
dark
it's
blue
not
above that
hard.
is, huh?
I can see all of the features, the green transition to the light blue to the dark blue, all go in a curve, and we can. Anybody, who's got eyes that are functioning can see that. And what you've just suggested with your straight thing doesn't reflect that. So, I mean, the fact if you're just denying what's visually there, I mean, we can just.
Well, can you change the
forget-
contrast a little bit?
I can.
Yeah, there is obviously some distortion there, but yeah. You don't even know where the horizon is in this picture, really.
Well, yes, but I can see that it's curved. I mean, it depends where you decide the transition is. If you do want the transition from whitish to greenish, or you want the transition from greenish to cyanish, and you want the cyan to light blue, and you want the transition from light blue to dark blue, all of those transitions are happening in the curve that I've shown. And that curve there, where the other transition occurs, exactly matches that curve.
How far away would that horizon be at this altitude? Do you know?
I could do a calculation on that if you like, but I don't happen to know that off the top
No,
of
that's
my
okay.
head.
I was just curious if anybody knew that calculation off the top of their head.
If you want, I can go and get that. And do it for you. What is it? 100. God, where's it? Hold on. Recent documents. That's the one I want.
Oh shoot. I think this might be pretty important here. I think I'm still sharing. Rumpus, could you take a look at my screen real quick? I think this might change things. What do you think about this one?
Hold on. You're showing us another Rory picture, are you?
No, this is on subject.
Why is it giving me the bloody... Oh, is that because I'm still sharing? When we couldn't... Is that because I'm sharing? Hold on, let's just see. Alright, let's just try looking at this. Presumably it wouldn't let me watch. Oh, why is it not letting me
I think the yellow line is a nice touch. I think that's good.
Oh, perhaps I'm looking at yours. Sorry, you're looking at this image again, looking up upwards.
Yeah. This upwards image. Randy put a yellow line on here, so obviously we can see that,
My God, you do realize this is the upward camera again. This is the widescreen looking upwards camera with what we've got with barrel distortion. This is just the same point that Ranty's made 3 times. But they've got barrel distortion with the wide-angle lens. What the hell are you? This is showing a convex Earth. I mean, what does Ranty think? I mean, if you think this is an argument, when we've been through this 3 times now, that if you're looking through the wide-angle lens, which is what is looking up from the one towards the balloon, which is what this camera is, suffers from barrel distortion. So therefore, it's making the Earth look convex. What point do you think you're making? Well, what does Ranty think his point he's making? I mean, Jesus Christ.
Well, I don't know. I didn't think it was that big. Okay. Anyway, were you done with your presentation? Sorry, I thought.
Someone asked me to do some color contrast.
Yes, yeah, you can do the color contrast. Okay.
Yeah, I can do it if you can't. If you don't know how.
I do know how. I was just being asked to also go and find out how the distance to the horizon.
Yeah, and Silent Zero is still available to help too. Don't forget.
This isn't the wide-angle lens, by the way, guys. See you later.
It's the one that's looking upwards, which is a wide-angle lens. You moron.
Yeah, there was 2. There was 3 on the whole thing. There was
GoPro
looking up. Yeah, GoPro looking up. Calm down, Rumpus. I'm saying it's a GoPro looking up, a GoPro looking out, and on the opposite side, a less distorted, or it's got an actual software corrected distortion in the. I think it's a Firefly or something like that, an SE8, which is the non-distorted one that he used.
I mean, you're being super stupid here, Ranty.
I think he's trying to be helpful.
Whoa.
I appreciate the help. Thanks, Ranty. Honestly.
Right, so here's a bit of processing I've done on this, and you can see, in fact, the curvature is actually greater than I've drawn. Am I sharing this?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I wasn't sharing though. Go ahead.
Right, so you can see from this, I've just done I've just removed some of the lighter, made the darker colors lighter. No, sorry, made the lighter colors darker, and you can see, in fact, the curve is greater than I've drawn it here. So let's go and actually do a better match on the curve here. And we can see that, in fact, that's where it should be. And it's actually sharper than I described. So there we go. That's matching the transition now.
Huh.
And you can see, in fact, it's even more curved than I said it was.
Why on the right is there all that blue, like it looks like dark ice above the lower black line that you've made? You know what I'm talking about?
Let's just go move all this stuff out of the way so we can see.
Sure.
Oh, perhaps I'm being a little. Yeah, there's a bit more clear. Perhaps I'm being a little bit unfair.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I still think the horizon's up above, but that's fine.
Not unfair.
Well, we don't need to find the actual. We just need to see what the geometry is doing. I mean, it's questionable.
What geometry?
See what the geometry is doing.
If I actually go from the white transition, then it's gonna.
They're clouds, Rumpus. Can you not see that on a globe? On a globe,
he's using the same image. He's using the same camera that I'm using.
I know.
He's using the same camera.
No,
it's the same camera lens. It's the center one.
No, it's
the same one.
No, it's not, Ranty, because
it's the same one.
No, it's not.
It's the same one, you Burke. Right, I'm going to leave you to it.
One that you showed had a balloon in it, a parachute in it. This is the one with the lines in it. The one you just showed us didn't have the lines in it. You stupid, utter moron.
What's that light in the center? You see that like purple light? Is that the moon or something? You see that?
This is obviously a reflection.
Oh, it's a camera thing.
Off the dome.
It's a lens flare from the sun.
It's off
right,
the dome,
so the point is,
purple rain.
We can see that the geometry here is curved of all of this.
It's not.
No.
You're lying.
No.
You are lying. It's not obvious at all. You're a blagger.
Well, in which case you're just denying your own evidence.
No, I'll show you. Shall I challenge you with a Photoshop challenge? Because I don't know what this program is, but it looks open source and free.
Photoshop off.
But my Photoshop shows that there's a clear line on that right-hand side there, you know, where it gets all turquoisey. It shows that that's a clear line in as much as that carries on straight going across and gets covered by the cloud.
In which case you've not set up the thing correctly. You can clearly see that it's
Are you mad? When was the last time you used Photoshop?
I prefer to use this program, which is much better. So it's a vector drawing program as well as being
it's much better, is it?
Yes.
Is it free and open source?
No, it's a very, very expensive program.
How much that cost then?
This particular one, I think, is about £400 or £500.
Wow.
This is just the drawing bit.
Wow. And it does vectors.
Exactly. I know Photoshop does that, but it doesn't do it
Wow.
properly. This, for instance, doesn't require lens.
It's industry standard.
Photoshop this
Rumpus,
shit.
do you think £400 is very, very expensive? Do
Well,
you?
okay, compared to free, it is.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, if you wanted to get, I don't know,
Jeez, man.
Yeah, he has that lying around in his couch
You know
sofa.
the Adobe Suite's about 40 grand. You understand
the
that?
full. I actually have that. I do actually have most
Very
of Adobe.
400 quid. Very, very expensive.
For a drawing program, that's very expensive, I would argue.
Yeah, but anyway, Rumpus, if you can
Even
look at
Adobe
my screen.
Illustrator. So how much is Adobe Illustrator? I don't think that's 400 quid.
No, I mean I only pay on a subscription, so it's £10 a month for Photoshop
well,
and 30 quid for Premiere.
Well worth it.
But
huh?
anyway, you can see on my screen there. I'm on 1 second more than you. I'm on 2042. I took my screen grab at because I couldn't be asked. So either way, you can see there that little blue line. Yeah, you know that blue shading. It's got a dark line on it, and that's kind of like where clouds end. Yeah, so then the cloud covers all over here.
We can't see anything here.
Can you not see that? That flat line?
Well, you found a lot. I mean, you've mulched this. You've mugged
No,
this image.
you're saying it's clear, and I'm saying you're talking bullshit.
Well, if you
And I'm
destroy
showing
the
you
image,
that you're talking
you can do
bullshit.
anything
No,
you like with it. I mean,
I didn't destroy it. I just done
have
find
destroyed
edges in Photoshop, mate.
You've destroyed this.
No,
Well, I don't think
you go stylize, find edges, mate, and that's all it does. There's no destroyed. All it does is find the edges, mate. And it finds it, and guess what? It's straight. How come it's straight? Shouldn't that be curved?
Well, which I mean,
Well,
in this situation, it's quite obvious our eyes are better than the Adobe Photoshop's outline.
No, bullshit. Because look, you can see that is pixelage. What do you mean? This is analysis of pixelage, Rumpus. Can you?
It's not Adobe Photoshop. You're just denying the evidence of your own eyes here.
You're a blagger. Look at your little panic.
Can I? Listen, I've had to come back again. Listen, after I popped out last time, I heard Rumpus say that it wasn't the same camera, and someone else said it in the chat. Guys, listen, I'm presenting my screen. There's a chance that you could put me on, Brandon.
Of course. Yeah, I'd be happy to.
I'm off.
It's your show, Ranty, after all.
So this was my video pad professional. I downloaded the video, and as you can see, this is what Rumpus wants you to see with all these little things
Hold on,
on
it's
the right
thinking.
hand
Sorry, it's thinking, Ranty. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
side. No worries.
come on, you piece of crap. Show it. There it is.
There we go. Okay, so on the right hand side, he's talking about, oh well, it didn't have these lines in, so it can't be the same one. Well,
we're talking about those lines.
Hold on. Rumpus has been here discussing about this curvature and these little the colouring just above the surface, right? This is the same camera, and then that pops doesn't change, it's still there. And then I took screenshots. Literally, they're all up here. Can you see them? Snapshots, 91 up to 96, from around about this point here, or just there, just these points here, and 94A, I think it was the image that I sent you with the yellow lining, which was from the same camera.
Oh man!
Rumpus.
Wait a minute. That where you have it right there, Rampney. That doesn't look like a curve. That doesn't look like a round Earth. What the hell?
Right there.
Look,
Yes, I mean,
look.
he keeps on showing us the shots from the wide-angle cameras and then saying, "Oh, look." Yeah, so that's from the, so this is from the work camera that's looking at right.
Oh,
when it goes
what?
Not
Rumpus?
there, right?
What?
Right, so there it's the camera. It's the outlooking camera.
Mhm,
Yes, there was using this. But then
mhm.
you went on to the next one, which is the one you
Yeah.
showed us before, which is from the one looking upwards. I mean, this is so
Yeah.
simple. I mean, how stupid can you be?
And what's this?
You're
What's
right.
this
Right,
one?
so there, so here,
Yeah,
right,
this
so
is
here
this
we're looking
one.
at the other
Yes.
camera.
Yes, and then we go back to this one. What about this one, Rumpus?
What about it? That's a
Are you
different.
telling
yes,
me-
that's
is
not
that-
right? So that's the correct camera. This is the one
So,
looking out. Yes.
so is that concave or convex?
Well, it's
what? Never mind what.
Then
Answer
we've
the
been into
question.
this, Ranty. We know that the stuff at the
Answer
bottom,
the
barrel
question.
distortion, will neutralise the curve. We've been discussing this for the last half an hour.
So,
Have
wait a
you not
minute,
been
so why
listening?
does it barrel the distortion at the bottom, not in the centre?
Oh my God, you don't understand what barrel distortion is.
Oh, I
do you?
do. I just want you to
No,
talk
you
us through it.
don't.
Go on, tell us
No,
about
you
it,
don't.
Rumpus.
This is the
Tell us.
question that Brandon wouldn't answer about half an hour ago when
Tell
I
us,
asked him,
Rumpus.
do you get minimum distortion in the center of the lens?
Tattletale.
Or do you, with barrel distortion, is it going to be neutralized? And I've been going on for the last half an hour about how in the bottom of the
It won't
thing,
be
barrel
neutralised,
distortion will
though. You
neutralize the
said.
curve. I mean, I don't know what point you're trying to make, but again,
Oh,
you've
it
not been listening.
neutralizes the curve, does it?
Well, it's inverted. The barrel distortion causes
So does
things
that make
to
it
bend
flat?
in a U shape. Yes, it
Does
will
that-
flatten it. Yes, you moron.
Oh, so this is a flat image then from the balloon launch.
So this is higher
Right,
than
let's
your
try
one.
this again. Barrel
This is a flat
distortion-
image from the balloon launch. That's just what you've said.
No, I didn't say that. You just said that. I don't know what do you mean by
You've just said it's a flat image.
I've told you the barrel distortion has flattened the curve because you're at the bottom of the lens.
Now, can you prove that?
You don't understand what barrel distortion is. Would you
Can
like to
you-
bring?
Can
okay,
you
would like,
prove it?
Right,
All
the
right.
curve.
Okay.
Right, we can see that from the curve.
Can you prove it?
I'm trying to, but you're not letting me speak. Throughout this, you can see there's the straight line, the grey line is bent downwards, which is indicative of barrel distortion. It's not straight. That's what barrel distortion does. And I can go and get an image if Gleam won't. That's what barrel distortion does. So it goes the opposite of the mage pack. So we could hear that. So we can know that there's a slight bit of barrel distortion in this lens, and that will cause the opposite effect to the curve. It will neutralize it, reduce it, make it flatter. That's the point we've been making for the last half an hour. I mean, you clearly haven't been listening.
So that you wouldn't say that's flat then either.
No, that's curved. If you get that, if I grab that, if you want me to grab that, I'll go and show them. There's a huge curve.
And what about this? What about this?
That's still curved, but I'm less so because,
concave.
well, of course, as you've got it going towards
Concave.
the it's not, and I don't think that's.
No, it
concave.
looks concave. It looks clearly concave. You're
Yeah,
mad.
well, there you are,
for
super
saying
curve. There
that
you are,
isn't.
super curve. You see, you're not going to that, Ranty. There's a nice bit of curve there for you, and that also
What about
gleams. So this also shows you
About
don't have all the images in the bottom third. So I don't know what you were talking about earlier.
Look
but
at
a
it
lot of
curving up
is-
in the bottom, though. Look at it curving up in the bottom, though. That's funny. That's the trait of moustache distortion.
Okay, I'll do a screen grab. If you want to give me the timestamp of that, Ranty, I'll go and grab that, and I'll go and do a.
It's not just a
14:59
timestamp. I can take a screenshot of this and I'll send it to you. All right.
No.
23.
Well, I would prefer you just to give me the time.
Well, I'll just pop it in now. I'll just fire it. I'll just pop it into
downloaded the
the
video.
Discord right now.
He's giving you the proper frame, isn't it?
So number 97. So there we go. Boom.
Where are you posting this?
I've just posted it now.
Where?
It's in the Discord.
Where in the Discord? Which
General
chat?
chat.
General
Right.
chat.
Right, you didn't say that. That's why I was asking. Jesus Christ, it's not difficult.
It's the only one we use. It's not
Well, I
difficult.
didn't know that. I don't not here at the time. Right, okay.
You've been here for how many years?
Well, I haven't. Not in Ranter's Discord. I haven't been for years. Right.
I think you need some lessons on Discord. We'll hook you up.
No, whether he decides to post is irrelevant to Discord. Right.
Silent Zero can help you, Rumpus.
Right. So.
All I am you is email.
So what happens when it goes up to the top of the camera then, Rumpus? Just out of curiosity.
Well, you get barrel distortion distorting the other way. It would make it look more curved. I mean, why am I having to explain this?
I just want to know what you're telling me about these cameras then. So why would we be using these cameras on these balloon launches then?
Well, he did try. I mean, he said he tried to find something with a rectilinear lens, but and he didn't. And I must admit, Mr. Sensible didn't do what I would have done, which is to go and check that before.
I hope he doesn't hear that.
With a grid.
I hope Mr. Sensible doesn't hear that.
So so let me get this right. So he spent all this time and effort going to put a video out, and he did it with a camera that's going to make things curve.
It's good enough. It looks. I mean,
How is it good enough? We've just been arguing for 2 hours about the fucking curvature, whether it's barrel distortion or whether it's real. So don't tell me that it's good enough if we're here arguing about it.
Good enough because the grey and the yellow line he's got there shows that in the area we're interested in, there is, well, on the grey one, there is a little bit of curvature, but we can see what the lens is doing, and we can see that the curvature is much more...
You can't see what the lens is doing. We've just been arguing about it for 2 hours.
The grey lines are there for, to show you what the lens is doing.
What kind of Burke sends a camera up that curves things?
It's sufficiently good. Everything is not perfect. And
Utter clowns. Utter clowns.
No, it's
clowns.
good enough. Right, now
Clown.
listen, it's good
No,
enough
it's
because
not.
the curvature of the Earth is greater than the distortion of this camera, which is
No,
much
it's not.
less than the wide-angle lens that you keep on showing us idiotically. You
Prove it.
keep on showing us shots from the wide camera lens that has got bent and barrel distortion, which we know. You don't focus on this one because you're an idiot, which does show with the grey line what the lens is doing. That's why he put them there, and we can see that the barrel distortion is minimal. So I've just done this screen grab. I don't know if I'm still sharing.
Minimal, if you can notice it, you idiot. Come on. That is not minimal. If you can notice a big line curving on the screen.
I am still.
Yeah, you're sharing. Yeah.
Okay, right. So this is the image that Ranty's just grabbed here, and so let's go and see what we can
All right.
see.
Curve this up.
So there we go. I was drawing it. So I'm trying to find an equivalent spot.
Yeah, that looks straight. Yeah.
Right. I must admit that one.
Yeah.
I would
There's an error
agree.
in mine.
Go ahead, say
I
it.
would agree that one is not curved.
So what's wrong with the lens at this point then?
Well, I mean, obviously, as we know, as we explained, we've been speaking for an hour, that the area
It's
down
obvious.
here is subject to minor barrel distortion that will negate the curve.
Yes, of course. Unless there's
no,
curve, and then
only-
it doesn't
only-
negate the curve.
That's obvious.
Yeah.
No, only
Obviously.
more the further away from the center of the lens,
Yes,
Rumpus.
yes.
Come on, you are
Yes.
stupid.
No,
This
I'm-
has to bend in unequal amounts, and you
Correct.
know that.
Yes, I know.
So
I'm
why
not
is it
claiming
not?
otherwise.
Why is it
Well,
not?
but we would expect to see, and this is what we would expect to see.
But we're not
was a-
seeing it,
Hold on,
Rumpus.
yeah, exactly.
Deal with
right,
what we're
yes.
seeing, please.
Yes. Well, no, I'm going to compare it with what we would expect to see something that looked like this. Which
Why would
match the
you
other-
expect it though, Rumpus?
Because
Why would you
we're-
expect it?
Well, because we know the Earth's curve,
Cult life, baby.
and because we've got
because
pictures
we
of this.
know, right? We
Yeah,
know
well,
the Earth's
and the
curve.
other images that we've got. I mean, I've shown
So
you
we've
other
got to fit
ones.
this to our narrative.
I've
So
got.
come
I've
on,
shown
how
you
are we
other
going to
Because
do
we
that?
know.
the other
Because we
images
know,
that-
Glenn. We know. Come on.
Yeah, we're in the know.
So, bloody hell.
Many
Well,
have called, but only Rumpus is chosen.
right,
Rumpus,
so-
you're failing to justify why that's flat, please. Can you do that?
Right. So, I've demonstrated in this
Obviously.
one.
No, forget that one. We are
No, I'm not
on
because
the
no,
concept.
it's inconvenient for you.
Because
this one,
no,
even
because
this
is no
this one-
dynamic curve of the Earth theory,
Right,
Rumpus.
right,
Deal
so
with the
Here we
flatness,
go.
please.
Yeah, well, hold on. Well, we've demonstrated that even in the area of barrel distortion, the bottom bit here that I've shown earlier, that it was definitely curved.
We have?
There's no doubt about that. So
Doesn't
this
matter
one
about
here-
that one now.
So this one here, I've grouped the wrong bloody thing. Damn it! What happened to my lines there? Right, but this one, for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
some
The curve
reason-
of the Earth has breathed, and
Is
it's
not-
got its belly out.
it's
Yeah.
not as clear. But
That
the
part of it
image
was
that,
flat.
but one thing is that it's
By not as
going
clear,
across.
do you mean completely absent? Is that what you mean by not as clear?
Well, we have the issue here that it is one portion of it is going into the area with additional distortion, whereas the image that
But it wasn't on your curvature one.
but
when
it
we were
was
saying
here,
it was going into
here,
distortion.
It is in a uniform position, so we would
It's not.
expect less.
It's more
we would ex-
turquoise on the
we would
right.
We would expect. Yes, it is. This is a bit more. Yes, but there's an inherent.
So
as
you're
I was
lying.
Showing.
Get back to the other one and explain why that's flat,
Well,
please,
no,
Rumpus.
you little twat! Don't accuse me of lying. This
No, you're
is
lying.
quite obvious. What do you mean lying? We can clearly see.
No, we're not
the
clearly
curve-
seeing anything.
We can. If you're.
We're not. If on one it's flat and one it's
Right,
curved,
so there we go. Right,
that must
but
mean
this
that
one-
there is
but
something
this
else
one-
involved, not Earth
This
curve.
one has no, that's not the case at all. But actually, I've not done that.
It must be the case, Rumpus,
Right, so
because
here we
you just
go.
said it negates the curve.
Yes,
so
so
there
the
must.
fact that, right, exactly. Because
Yeah, but
this
it's
is
going in
negating
an
the curve,
angle.
Yet it's still
You know,
curved.
Rumpus, you know the
See?
inverse position. The inverse position is that the lens causes the curve. It's equally as arguable. How the hell do you? Oh, it's
Right.
negated the curve. Invert your own statement, and it's just as plausible.
No, it's not. Try listening. From this grey line here, which is straight, we can see that it's bent down. That means that it will flatten any curve below this line. There is barrel distortion here. Yet
Oh,
we still
please.
have what is
Yeah,
quite
no, that's
clearly
cool.
a curve,
We know this.
even though it's in the area
Yep,
of the
we know
lens,
this.
which would negate the curve.
Yep.
Then why
as much
isn't
as the
that
lens
curve
would do it.
right there negated, Rumpus? If that's your theory.
You mean this one I'm looking at now?
Yeah.
No, the other one.
Right, the other one. Well, okay. So we've established there is a curve there, even in the zone of the barrel
No, there
distortion,
isn't.
which would remove.
No, we
you can
haven't
see-
established
It's
if you're
supposed to be
if you're
negated.
If you're just denying,
You said it was negated
we're
underneath
denying
that portion,
Yeah,
and
I
we're
mean, you
looking
just
at
done
one
some
where it
screen
looks
visibly. I mean,
curved right now.
there's no
Okay, so then go on to the next one. So you're denying
Right.
that it's a flat Earth now because we can see it flat.
Well,
No, you're denying what you're seeing on the screen, you idiot.
Duh. Anyone can see that's flat.
Quickly put the curve one back on the screen.
No. I'm more than happy. I'm more than happy to. I never try and dodge an issue. And
You
so
are dodging it now.
No, I'm not dodging anything.
Answer it directly right now, then.
That one also looks flat.
Well, this is the one we
Same one. Okay. All right. Well, that one's flat too.
This is the one that is. There's only one.
Explain. You've got 2 minutes. Go.
This is the one that I was having an issue with. This is the.
Yeah, your issue is there's no curve
even
in it.
there, you can still see there's a bit of curve, but it's so small. I mean,
no, there's no curve there. No, Rumpus. No.
It's at the middle of the screen on one side and at the bottom of the other.
Right, the other one had the image of the Earth.
Where'd the curve go, Rumpus?
Let me listen. Yeah, I'm going to explain. Stop interrupting me. I know it's inconvenient for you. I'm not trying to dodge the issue at all. Right, so the other one had the Earth uniformly sort of horizontally in the section. So the effects on the curve were uniform. Now here, it's going obviously from the middle, where we wouldn't expect the minimal depth boundary. Actually, this bloody thing's curving up, isn't it?
Hey, Mr. Sensible, this is an amazingly shitty lens that turns all curves flat and all flat curve. I mean, it does exactly what Rumpus needs it to do so that the Earth is obviously curved at any time.
My error. That is indeed what's been doing.
You can't explain it then, Rumpus, because 2 minutes is up and you seriously babbled nonsense.
Oh, well, I got interrupted. Right, so the point is that this portion of the curve of the Earth is actually in a different part of the lens. This is sort of in the mid. Well, it's going from crossing from one side to the other, and therefore we're going to get different effects here and here, which would. This is going the different way, isn't it? Actually,
Rumpus, you can't explain it, can you, mate?
So hold on, I'm having a
mate. Come on, that is really, really avoiding it. Come on. You're saying I'm not avoiding anything, and then just avoiding it for 2 minutes.
You can tell when his voice goes up like that.
I'm just taking in the fact that
that's weird. That doesn't fit my ball.
No, let's take in the facts, Rumpus. You can't explain it, can you?
Well, hold on. I've got something else to deal with. The fact that there's in the other images, the grey line.
That's a good distraction, but
my God,
you can't explain it.
I'll get on to. I won't dodge it. If you stop interrupting me, I'll get just.
No, you've had 5 minutes, mate.
You might find this interesting. This grey line is bending in the other way than it's been bending in the other. Now, I suppose that could be. Is this after it's been?
Look, do you want to go away and come back to us?
Hold on. Is this image you've given to me? Is this after it's fallen? So is it dropping?
Ooh, what difference does that make? It's at 38,000 meters.
Right, that would explain it then. So they see this grey line, but all the way up until now it's been
so motion.
Down, and now it's dropping, and therefore presumably the wind, whatever the air is.
It's still at 38,000 foot.
What?
Right. Okay.
The wind,
so
the wind is.
Well, I mean, it's falling at a very high velocity at this part of the.
You're chatting
shit.
It
went up slowly. Just try listening.
Try listening. No, because it's shit. I know it's shit.
My God,
people are talking shit.
You don't like it. You don't like the fact that I'm about to present you some evidence that when things are falling at whatever speed they were, which was I can't remember how many meters per second it's falling, which you can see
9.8.
Right, you can see from this graph here that it's falling much more quickly than it raised. That's what the graph here is showing. Well, who cares? Because I'm about to explain to you why this grey line is bending upwards and not downwards as previously it did. You also don't care about the details. You don't care about the details image. I do. That's because I do image.
You're about to just make something up and tell us as though it's the
I can't even listen anymore.
Were you on the balloon, Rumpus? Do you know what was going on? You're just making it up now.
I can do image analysis and you can't.
Bullshit.
And you didn't spot this and I did. And that's why I am able to analyse things and you're
You've just invented a story.
Draw a line right
about to tell us.
Draw a line across it. Draw a line across it right now.
Okay.
I do have one picture after he's done with this that might shed some light on what's going on.
So, actually, okay.
So where's your fucking bend, you knob?
Okay, I must admit that was an optical effect.
Right, now shut the fuck up, right, and stop winging it. I do better image analysis than you because my eyes did not see that curve. Yes, you saw it curve. You need your eyes checking, brother.
Well, there is something good. Well,
there is something. Is it fairies or pixies to help me?
It's confirmation bias, Rumpus. You have to admit.
Rumpus, you seriously drowned here, mate. You've drowned properly.
Anyway, that's
I'll come back to you, mate.
Okay, but the point is.
No, there is no point. The point is you're debunked.
There is point because before it was bent down. It was in a slight U shape.
And now it isn't.
Now it's much straighter, and that's caused by the fact that it's
an optical effect.
And therefore,
it's not the curve of the Earth. it would be
right,
curved.
Moron, listen, moron.
No, you're the moron because you can't explain this. I can.
In all the images going up, there was the grey line was bent in a U shape. It's no longer in a U shape. And
Obviously, an optical effect.
That's obviously caused by the fact that it's now falling, and just like anything else, it's got air resistance and it's pushing it up slightly. Anyway, so that's something for you to think on. Oh, you're a moron. Anyway, but anyway, it's not really.
I don't feel like I need to think about it.
So you're basically saying that any way you angle it, you can get rid of the curve of the Earth. Is that what you're telling me? That you angle the camera by blowing it upwards?
I was talking about the grey line and the fact that it's bent differently now than it was before. That's all
I'm talking about that line called the horizon that's flat.
Which is obviously not a.
Can you draw a line across that grey line? Like a straight line? Can you pull a straight line across that grey line?
He just did, and it was exactly straight.
Yeah, it looks pretty fucking straight to me.
I put a very thin yellow line in the middle of it, and it's actually bent up and down
slightly. It's barely bent, Rumpus.
It's no need you to pixel.
It is barely bent, but the point is, in the
Dude,
images on the way up...
give me a break.
Listen, Brandon, on the way up, it was bent down, you moron.
Do you think anybody's buying this? Come on, man.
It's now different because
just by getting louder doesn't make it more factual.
What's the altitude, guys?
You are winging it, Rumpus. You're talking nonsense. You can't explain it, can you?
You're just ignoring the evidence of your eyes. Anyway, well, you just.
How much wind resistance is there going to be at 100,000 feet?
You ignoring it.
The main point issue is the discussion.
You're ignoring this.
No, I'm not. I'm getting on to it.
Are.
You're just being. No, I'm not. I'm perfectly happy to get on.
Rubbish. We give you about 20 minutes now, and you've just babbled shit. You said there was a bent line, and there wasn't.
I had to explain how this grey line.
No, you didn't have to explain it because you can't analyze images like me.
I did. You didn't spot the fact that it changed shape. So.
I did, but it was a straight line.
No, you didn't.
So I didn't deem it useful.
No,
and we found out it's not useful.
On the way up, this was bent down due to barrel distortion, and it's no longer.
I did understand that. We were talking about earlier.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we were. We were talking about earlier with the barrel distortion.
You have not discussed the shape of the line changing.
You're panicking now.
You have not mentioned this. You are lying. You're a little lying wanker. You're a lying wanker.
I feel like our case has been made pretty effectively.
Look at how crushed you are. You're crushed, mate.
No, you're just a dishonest wanker.
You are
anyway, so I'm happy to get back onto the subject of the curve of the Earth, and I just thought it was interesting.
No, that is not the curve, though, is it?
I know it's not the curve of the Earth.
What is it then?
What curve of the Earth?
What is the curve? The horizon. Yeah. Why isn't it not curved, you prick?
So you lying wanker who claimed to be discussing the grey line. And
the grey line's straight. The horizon is straight.
That was your distraction, remember?
But it was bent down.
That was your 10-minute distraction.
We
Come
all
on,
remember that it was bent down.
The grey line's straight. The horizon is straight.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Because people seem to be having a problem remembering that, let's go to this other image here.
No, don't distract it.
It's in the bottom third, Rumpus. It doesn't matter. The whole thing's in the bottom third. You know, that's where the lens is distorted. Remember, it's in the bottom third of the lens.
You can't explain it.
Let's go back to the one that helps me, please. Let's go back to the one that helps me.
I would do
it's
that.
an optical effect.
No, I'm happy. But you can see here that
it's exactly
the grey line was bent.
That must be why the horizon looks bent.
So it does the opposite, you moron. It negates the curve, you twat. This is the point I've been making.
Oh, so it's even more curved.
Yes, that's
amazing argument. Amazing.
So go back to the other one then, Rumpus.
Demonstrates the barrel distortion, which would negate the curve, yet we still have it.
Go back to the other one then.
Curved than it appears. So
yeah,
anyway,
go back to the other one.
So I'm now happy to go back.
Why?
Now that we've covered that and shown that. Well, anyway, yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm happy to go back to the awkward date. I have no problem with that.
Right.
So yes, this does look flat to some degree. Yes, the curve is not.
Please explain.
I mean, it's very, very slight, but you couldn't put your money on that one. And the only other thing I can claim here is that this area, it is an angle, obviously, and that means we're getting more barrel distortion here, which will, as I've explained, will cause it to bend up, even though the grey line.
What happened to the other side?
It is bending. See, it is bending up.
Shut up! Stop distracting. What happened to the other end where it's not bending either?
Well, obviously, if this end is curved here, but this end is curved up, it will, you're going to get a mixture of effects.
No, the middle of the lens is the straightest. Remember.
Even allowing barrel distortion, there does seem that there is not as much curve as there as I would expect.
Okay, now listen to this question, Rumpus.
Unless I took these.
It's a pinnacle question I've got for you, mate. It's a pinnacle question.
See, okay. If I was to give a really objective, so I'd say it was there and the grey.
Rumpus, we know it's not the same as before at the same altitude.
just
Okay,
there
cool,
is
Rumpus.
no
Now
bend
listen
there,
to the question.
No,
I would
one
say that it's
important
still a curve
question,
there,
Rumpus.
but I would agree that it's so close to being
Rumpus,
flat that it-
please listen to Gleam's question.
Excellent.
One
Please
real
listen.
important question.
Go ahead, go
If
ahead.
in one photo you can show curvature, if in another photo you cannot show that curvature,
Right, but
would
it's
that
one.
be... Wait. The question is, would that be an effect of the Earth, the physical geometry of the Earth, or something else?
Right, but if you have one of those images is based in the center of the lens, and the other one is in the edge of the lens, which we know has barrel distortion, then obviously you'd pick the one that has the image in the center of the lens. So they're not equivalent. So there's no dichotomy here. You just you just throw the things out that are towards the end of the lens. You use images.
You're distracting. You're not answering the question, mate.
No, but you didn't say these images are not equivalent, you little moron. If you
No,
have
I
one that
asked
has
you a
an image-
question about the two images we've just
Yes,
looked at,
if
and you
one
were
image is
talking about
based in
something
the area
else.
of barrel distortion, and the other one isn't, then you can reject one of them, you twat. My
Right,
God.
now listen, right?
Moron.
So they've all got barrel distortion in. Should we reject them all?
Well, no, because the areas in the central lens are not subject to barrel distortion, even on crappy iPhones.
Yes,
this
but
is
we
a
proved
better
with this image on screen that that's not the case, because it would be bent more on the left-hand side in the lower left portion than it would in the mid-center portion.
the other way, you twat. It's flat. Oh my God! Look, you flipping moron! When it goes further down, it bends it this way. So this is exactly what you'd
There's
have
no
expected.
bend.
There is a very slight bend. I've drawn it in. It's a very slight
There
bend.
is no bend. There's no bend.
You don't seem to understand what barrel distortion is doing again. The barrel distortion will cause it to form a U shape when it goes down. So that means as it gets towards the end, it will. Let me just draw
No,
this
that's
into-
moustachian, mate.
Right, let me just show you what the barrel distortion does. It will cause it to do this sort of shape.
That's moustachian, you
What barrel
dickhead.
distortion does. It would negate the curvature of the Earth. The fact that we've still got a tiny bit of curvature in here, even though it's going down here, which will lift this up. The barrel distortion will lift this end up, and it will keep that one constant. And that's exactly the effect we would see. But I must admit, the effect is more than I would have thought.
Yeah.
But it's still.
So
I can
the
still,
lens can hide the curve.
It's still curved.
So the lens can hide the curve in your eyes, yeah?
Correct. If you have it in the bottom of the lens, if you have the image that you're dealing with in the bottom of the lens, it will negate and flatten the curve to some degree. If this was up in the top of the lens, it would be curvier. But actually, for some reason, this lens seems to be better up here than it is down here. The curve,
which is opposite to what you're saying. So stop contradicting
Oh
yourself.
my God! You just don't listen. You absolutely.
You just said it's better. And there is no. Is there distortion in this photo?
It's slightly asymmetrical. It's slightly flatter. It suffers less barrel distortion in the upper part of it than it does in the bottom. That's why the line at the bottom is bent and the one at the top is not. The yellow line at the top is basically flat. The one at the bottom here, in the other images, not in this one because we discussed how the windows are more curved.
We did discuss that. We didn't agree to it, but yeah.
There is more distortion, asymmetry in the lens. So this one here, for instance, we have there. This is where the you can see it drops below because it's bent due to barrel distortion. This line is not straight due to barrel distortion.
The yellow line's not straight.
It is straight. So, but
I
nonetheless,
can see that it's not straight.
I would expect to see more curve, but I mean, there might be another optical effect perhaps going on. But the point is, I can still, when I put that curve on it, there's still that straight, this line here that I've drawn here, this black one, make it, let's make it. See what it is.
It's blatantly in line on the left-hand side and then dips down on the right. You
straight
blagged
line.
it.
It's actually slightly curved.
Yeah,
so
because you
even though it's
blagged it.
gone down into the maximum curve negation area here, it
Curve
still
negation
shows
area.
Maximum curve negation area.
It's the designated
Oh my God.
The down here, maximum barrel distortion is maximum. At its maximum
Oh, you're awesome,
Is it
Rumpus.
super distortion? Is it
barrel
superlumen distortion?
Is at its maximum down in the corner.
Is that an industry term or what?
So why doesn't it go
Barrel
up?
distortion is at its maximum down here. So that's the only thing, the way I can account for the fact that this is straighter than it should be.
Yeah.
Flatter. But it's still
That's
slightly
not the
curved.
only way you
That
could account
big-
for it.
It's not at all.
No,
Your
because the
blinders
other
are black.
images, we have
No,
images
it's obviously
in the center.
flat. It's
We have
obviously
images in
flat.
the center. We have images in the center where the distortion is minimal, where it is curved, and I've demonstrated in the other image
Show me.
where the
No, because that is
we
in the
have-
bottom.
And this image here,
In the
it's
bottom.
very definitely curved. even though it's
now
also
point
in
to the same area where it's
even though
mostly
also in the
barrel
area
distorted.
Yeah,
where
where's the
grey line
maximum image
Where's the
distortion
maximum area?
area?
In this bit.
Maximum curve
Where the
negation
curve
area.
is. Oh, that is the curve negation area, but that's where we're seeing the curve.
Is there a curve negation area on the other side too?
This area is where.
What about on the other side of the lens? Is there one over there?
Indeed, over here as
Yeah.
well. Both those edges would reduce the curve, but in fact, here we have a lovely
Oh.
curve, and this would be negated and flattened out by the barrel distortion, which is at its maximum here. And the fact that it's still there means there's very definitely a curve in that image. Now, here, okay, there's something I don't fully understand.
What's the altitude difference? Yeah, what's the altitude difference between these two photos? It's got it
this
on
one
the
is
photo.
9, and this one is they're about the same.
Huh.
Oh,
very close to one another.
That's odd.
But this one's falling down, and this one's going up, presumably.
Well,
Yes, I
yeah.
think the other one's going up.
So it depends whether you're falling down or going up. The wind
No,
blowing
the
the
angle, no.
barrel
Let's try this
and
again.
the angle.
Can
Sorry,
you
yeah,
see,
and the
can you
angle.
see, can you see that the
and
horizon's at a position in the lens?
Another bendy line that didn't actually bend. And
The
what else?
horizon is horizontal, semi in the horizontal position. Where can you not see that this
It's
one
got Bell's palsy,
is
mate.
different? It's the tip of the gleam. This one's got a dangle on it, hasn't it? Yes, it has. Rumpus.
Where's the dangle?
Oh, you're
Where's
right.
the
I don't know
dangle?
why I'm so stupid.
What are you on
Show us
about?
the dangle.
What
so
are you on about?
we have a different positioning of the horizon in these two.
Wow. Yeah.
Therefore, we're going to get a different effect.
Okay, so it depends on what angle and
Well,
whether you're
as I
falling
explained
or going
you're
up.
going to get maximum barrel distortion at the corners, and that's where this portion has been.
That's where the
flattened out.
curve was on the last one and isn't on this one.
Yes, but we can see that this is the area where it would be
But
negated. and
Rumpus,
therefore
what
it's
I'm trying to
a
get through
curve.
to you
No, you're not
is
getting-
that,
you're an
no,
idiot,
the
yes.
middle of the lens is less distorted. Bring the other one back up. The middle part of the lens is less distorted. So
Correct.
let's
The area around here
pretend.
is where the minimal distortion. Correct.
Yeah,
This
let's
is something that
pretend.
Brandon wouldn't say yes or no to me about an hour ago. Yeah.
Yeah, let's pretend now. Yeah, let's pretend that you draw in the same level of curve in the other photo in this photo. And let's compare the two because they're at the same altitude. You should be expecting the similar curve, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's
So
a good
just
idea.
draw in a curved line
Yep.
and just
You want-
see how many pixels it is either side that is kind of missing.
Before we do that, I do have to show you something. Am I sharing my screen still? I think this might change
Yep.
things. Yep. If you could take a look at that, Rumpus. What do you think about that?
Line.
That's pretty hardcore. No, it looks pretty straight, doesn't it?
You're referring to this image here, the sort of black and white one. You think
Yeah.
that looks straight? Okay, let me do a screen grab on that. Give me a moment.
Okay.
And we'll have a look at it.
All right. Well, while you're doing that,
do
let me
have a
read up.
problem.
Okay, here you go. So here's the image that you. If I'm still screaming, I've got your image here.
Okay,
let's go
all
and
right.
see what
Let me read out
does.
the super chats while you're doing your work.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for the super chats, guys. Sorry it took me so long to get to them, but I didn't want to interrupt that. We were getting some very important information from Rumpus. Lumberjack, what a rumptard. $9.99 US. Thank you. Brian's Logic.
Yeah,
Yep. Go ahead, Rumpus.
so I appreciate the reality is difficult for people to cope with. But carry on.
Yeah, I'm sure you can sympathize. Brian's Logic, €549. The geometric horizon only exists in the maths. Rumpus, January 2020, flat Earth debates.
Hmm?
Yeah, he's right. I think you did say that
So,
once upon a time.
what was the quote again? What was the quote?
The geometric horizon only exists in the maths.
When you're in space, the geometric horizon is the horizon. There's no refraction, so it's not an issue. So there is a geometric horizon here. We are looking at the geometric horizon.
I
We're
think
not.
we're
We're looking at
Only with
aerosols.
refraction do you have problems with the geometric and
dropping
apparent horizon.
frames. Oh.
Byron
Yeah,
and
okay. I
Fraser
mean, I'll
say
agree,
otherwise.
that one does look very flat.
All right. Yep, that looks flat.
It would
2-1.
appear
2-1.
whatever this lens is doing, that when you have an angled thing coming from the edge to the other edge at the bottom, so when it crosses it diagonally like this, the lens does seem to have an effect of flattening it.
And
That would appear to be the case.
perfectly getting both sides perfectly right
Hmm.
at equal amounts to perfectly.
How did you have you processed this image in some way then? What have you done to this to generate this effect? This is not the original image.
It looks like a contrast.
That's
it
from.
looks like a contrast. Don't you know the image analysis there, Rumpus?
Well, I'm waiting for him to
see,
tell me, Gleam.
I can see that that's
That's from
contrast.
Ranty.
I'm waiting for. Right, so he's okay. So we don't quite know what he's done with that.
Yeah, you can see it, Rumpus. If you knew image analysis, you can see.
Do you think
that
that's just a contrast change? So how come we've lost the color then, you twat? It's more than just contrast.
What does contrast do again?
It doesn't remove color, you twat.
What? So it doesn't reduce the actual fading of it?
It doesn't change the colors. You are a moron.
Mad?
This is
Do it
almost
now.
black and white or tinted. This is almost like a tinted image. This has lost its
Do it
colors.
on your fancy software program.
Yes,
do it now.
It.
Yeah,
do it.
Well, I mean,
but
it's been done.
We've got the buttons.
I've been
we've got the
dealing with an image. I've been dealing with an image that's been processed.
Either way, deal with the image. You've already dealt with it. You said, yeah, it's flat.
Well, this is indeed looking flat, but it would appear that when you have an image of the thing we're looking at that goes from the one edge diagonally down to the other edge, it does seem to flatten it out. Now, this presumably
all he did was brightness and contrast, Rumpus. Brightness and contrast. I think you could handle that.
Well, I suppose. Okay, well, if you made it very bright, I suppose that would make everything go black.
Yeah.
Grays. Well, they shouldn't really do that. But anyway,
you don't know anything about image analysis.
I know
mate.
lots about it.
Seriously. 17 years old, I was working in the Navy News.
Yeah,
doing
but you don't know
image
analysis.
analysis.
You're ignorant of everything.
I know way more than you about this,
No,
obviously.
you don't. No, you can't even read a paper and understand it. We've demonstrated this many times. You don't even understand what you read. Every citation.
What happens is I give you a citation and you say the scientist is wrong.
No,
and
we
you
don't
never,
know. No,
and you never follow it up.
The only time I've ever said that is on.
Have you sent him an email? Have you sent David an email?
I must have. I've been so busy with.
Right, so you haven't chased it up, have you, you dickhead?
Because that doesn't make me a dickhead. That makes you a moron.
It does. No, because you said he's wrong. The NASA scientist is wrong. Rumpus is right. I'm going to contact him and tell him about it, and you haven't done it. You're a prick.
Nah,
you're a prick, mate.
You don't even understand them. Just
you just hand-wave dismiss him, saying the scientist is wrong.
Where you had V and you thought
Stop
it was
panicking now.
You thought it was voltage. I mean,
rubbish. No,
every citation you ever provide is wrong.
Rubbish. No,
it kills you. Every time you give us ammunition.
Two more super chats. Lumberjack.
Every time you give us a citation,
$9.99. Of course, the Earth is round.
In Gleam's defense, Rumpus. In Gleam's defense, you are a dickhead.
1 second, guys. We can get to the bottom of that in a second. Let me get through these. Lumberjack. Of course, the Earth is round. It revolves around Rumptard. $9.99. Thanks, Lumberjack. Lumberjack. Gleam is ace. Cheers, mate. $9.99. Thanks, Lumberjack.
This is a guy who doesn't know the difference between voltage and velocity. Yeah. And he's never solved any equation or done any physics equation in his life. We've demonstrated he cannot do even the most basic equations or
processing. Mate, my job is converting kVAR and kilowatt hours.
Oh my God, that involves the simple a child of 13
IVR. Yeah, exactly. IVR.
It's just one.
So I do it. You're just lying. You're just
multiplying two numbers together is not.
It's actually
math,
free.
You moron. Jesus, the fact. See, you've just demonstrated how ignorant you are. No one who had any understanding of maths or physics would cite what you've just said as being some sort of
standard Ohm's law.
Well, that's not. Well, that's just a simple.
Well, what is that? What is? So yeah, that's just one of the most important equations in electronics. You twat.
Okay, then. Okay, if you're so clever, then tell me what the power.
No, I'm not going through this rubbish because you know I am not university trained.
Tell me the formula for power if you know what the formula for the Ohm's law is. Tell me what the formula for power of a system is. Then, if you have to deal with kilowatt hours.
Rumpus, we're not going through this because.
Here we go. Right. So exactly, you just cited something you've done, and I've been able to show you don't understand what a kilowatt hour is.
Absolute nonsense.
So okay, what's a kilowatt hour then? How do you work out kilowatt hours?
You are absolutely crazy.
Listen,
you work out the actual wattage of the system. Why are you interrupting?
Give me the definition of a watt.
The watt is the power of the unit power.
Power is IR drops.
How do you work out the power?
Was I right? No, wait there. Was I right?
Hold on. No.
Was I right? Was I fucking right? Yes or no? Yes or no?
I want you to know how you work it out.
No. Wait there. You just asked a question. Why did you
just said you knew what power is? How do you work out power?
No, wait there. I'm not going down this program push because you keep interrupting me.
How do you work out power?
No,
how do you work out power?
You keep interrupting me.
How do you work out power? You said you work it out. How do you do that?
You keep. It's the W divided by the R.
And you think that's power? you moron. You've got that completely wrong. So even though this guy's been citing the fact that he uses
is
this equation,
V
he's
over
just
R.
told you that he doesn't understand it because he just gave you the wrong
Rubbish.
equation.
I just
and this is what
showed
he
you
offered.
power,
And
and
this
you
is what
just
he
said
offered.
absolute
Just
nonsense.
offered that calculation
You're
of
just
power.
talking
Do you hear
panic
what he said?
nonsense.
He said it
Go
was
on.
W
Tell it.
over R, and that's not how you work out power. This
Go on
guy
then.
is an
Go
utter
on then.
moron. Even though he
What
is it?
cited this as an example of his ability to
Rumpus,
do this,
may
he
I
actually
say
got it
you are
wrong.
just babbling?
He actually got it
Thank
wrong. I know
you.
you're trying to protect
Hey,
him. I know you want to
Rumpus,
protect
just
him.
chill
I'm
out,
not
bro.
trying to
Yeah, you're
protect
Just
protecting
him.
him.
chill
Yeah,
out,
you
bro.
protect him. Yeah, you protect him with the
Rumpus,
fact
just
that I
chill
just
out.
All
showed
right,
him.
You're
guys.
panicking.
So
You're
anyway,
panicking,
all
Rumpus.
right,
protect him,
all right,
guys.
stop,
Yeah, you
stop.
just
Are you trying to
protect
get
him.
kicked, Rumpus? Stop.
Well, I
You're
mean,
just
yeah, but
panicking.
when some guy says I do this and then he turns out he can't even do what he said he's done, I'm afraid that
I've just done it, and you haven't corrected it. I've just done it, and you haven't corrected it. You're just babbling.
You
Personal
said that
attack. That's
power
all you
is
do.
equal to W divided by R, and that's completely and utterly
Well, correct
wrong.
it. Correct it.
I'm going to leave you to do that.
Ah,
Actually.
How is
look
he
at
wrong,
you, you
Rumpus?
twat.
Okay,
How
then.
is he wrong? How is he
Because
wrong? What is
W
R?
there.
What is R in translation for?
Well, okay, I'll tell you what it is. He said that
Because it's
power,
only work divided by one other option to get
no,
power. Yes,
right.
it is.
He used W, which I presume he thinks is watts, and it should
Watts
be.
is the output.
Sure.
If you
Yes,
take
and then he
120
divided
volts,
it by
10
R to get the
amperes
power. And he's already got
through
that
a
in the
So what's
W
resistor,
R?
I
value.
get
What's R in
1200
He's
the
watts.
already
equation?
got that
What's
in the
R in the
W
equation?
value.
What's
Resistance.
R in
Come
the
on.
It's
equation?
resistance, yes, and it's not W divided by R as the power. You've already got it in W, you twat.
All
So
right,
you've got that
guys.
completely
All right, we
wrong.
can continue this in a minute. We're going to go into final thoughts. I hate to interrupt. It was good stuff, Rumpus. I appreciate being the sounding board for us to, put that nail in the globe coffin there. I'm going to give you the last go around, the last final thoughts. And we'll start off with Allie B. Allie hasn't said much in this show. We probably didn't have a chance to. But Allie, final thoughts?
Can you hear me all right, yeah?
Yep.
Good stuff. Well, my final thoughts is I agree with Gleam. The Rumpus is a dick. That's it.
All right.
Good
Fair enough.
show as well. Good listening.
Cool. Thanks, Allie. Chad.
What's going on?
What's up, man? Any final thoughts or thoughts on the show or what?
Yeah, well, I came in late and I've been cutting up vegetables and putting shit in the oven and blah, blah, blah. But what I've learned is that we're all twats. We're all utter morons, and we're stupid. Great show. Thank you.
Yes, that was quite clear. F Evangelist. Nope. Flatter. Oh, there he is.
Yep.
There he is. Go ahead.
Sorry, man. I was trying to get off mute, but I hit the wrong button. Mate, it's just it's more and more of, I just get so sick of these guys stating, we know this and we know that, and this is a fact, and we calculate this. You don't know shit. You really don't. But you say it with such confidence and such conviction and such, bluster that people who don't know much about this topic just go, oh yeah, okay. I'm sick. I'm just so sick of hearing it, and I wonder, why do we keep entertaining these wankers? But then the other part of my brain says, yeah, but we're putting a show across, and it gives us a chance to question these wankers and to call them out. So my brain just explodes every time people like Rumpus get on. I've got the same crap going on with Phil Bell. I can't even call him Professor. He's just Phil to me. In the chat, he tells me he knows this and he knows that, and he doesn't know anything. He just, anyway, I get worked up even trying to have final thoughts, Brandon. Thanks for the show, mate.
That's all right. Good stuff, man. Thanks, F Evangelist. Flat Earth Data.
Hey, man. Yeah, just looking back at the picture thing and using the argument that barrel distortion doesn't affect these images, I just find, after you've been doing this for a while and this conversation keeps coming up and you hear somebody like Rumpus still deny these effects due to cameras. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's good for the newcomers to see, but it's very painful for somebody like me to always hear this argument and always hear Rumpus deny that.
I'm the one making
Hey, final thoughts, Rumpus. You'll have your chance. Go ahead.
Rumpus is denying all the factors that basically lenses have, effect on our images, and to sit here and listen to him try to analyze this image, knowing damn well any image that's shot below or above the center focal point on a a lens will have some type of barrel distortion to it. For the most part, all these cameras and lenses are being used as like GoPro, which is wide angle, tons of barrel distortion, as you can see in the footages when you when it breaks free and you can see the it goes all crazy. You can see the bending up and the concave and the convex of the lens, which is naturally stated part of the result of using GoPro lenses. So it's pretty obvious for what it is, and hopefully, people catch on to it. So you got to thank Rumpus for beating a dead horse.
Absolutely. Thanks, Data. Gleam.
Yeah, another clinical display from Rumpus of when he's backed into a corner, he starts doing quiz mode. Oh, I've got to quiz you on this. I've got to quiz you on that. Absolute nonsense, Rumpus. You're seriously caught red-handed, and then you literally panic. And then when you can't get past the panicness, it's just call people names continuously. You've literally been showed up on Rory's camera. You said it was a rectilinear lens. It is not. It is a standard iPhone lens, which is bullshit. It had distortion on it. This has distortion on it. And you are in denial of reality because you are forcing a curve where there is none. Salute. Thank you, Brandon. Salute to Ranty. Get well sooner. Oneness. Take care.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Gleam. I rock well.
Great show. Shout out to Gleam for holding Rumpus's toes to the fire. Y'all have a good night.
Hell yeah. Thanks, I rock well. Jimbo.
Well, the Rumpus show was pretty good tonight. And final thoughts, well, in 2 hours, most people didn't even get a chance to speak a word. So what the piss does their final thought mean if they can't input during the show? It's a great show because they always boil down to the same thing. A couple of people arguing the same thing for the whole fucking show nearly. And you'll be back and you'll do it again. So, yeah, I'll be there for my final fucking thoughts. Enjoy. It was a good show.
Fair enough,
Good
Jimbo.
Rumpus show.
Thanks, man.
Love that, Jimbo.
Left blade. You there, Howard? Aaron? No? Paige?
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, shame that Rumpus just carried on the whole time and nobody else got to actually say anything. I feel like I've just, wasted 2 hours listening to absolute nonsense.
No. We got to
Name-calling.
listen to Rumpus call us names for 2 hours. It's fine.
Yeah, call us names for 2 hours. Yeah, I mean, I really do think that it's got to come to a stage where we say to these kinds of people that, the first time you insult us, you're going to get kicked. You can come back the next time, but, unless you can have an adult discussion without acting like a kindergartner, then there's no point talking to these people. I would have liked to have been able to chat with you guys. I haven't seen you, haven't talked to you for like a week. But, oh well, maybe tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, Paige. Lemon.
I think, it's hard to train your competition or your replacement. We're dealing with a turf war of ideologies, globe versus flat. And, we have a lot to learn from each other, but at the same time, it's like two clashing worldviews in competition. And so competition comes out, ego comes out, but if the Globers have any lessons to impart, I'll listen as much as I can. Sometimes they can be, cruel tutors, as it were. But if they have knowledge to impart, I'll take it. But the earth is demonstrably and measurably flat.
All right. Thanks, Lemon. Ricky's on mute. SC.
All right. Another good show. I enjoyed it. Shout out to Ranty. I hope you get well soon, bro. Shout out to Gleam. As usual, a thorough trashing of Rumpus. Show his double speaking, and yeah, I enjoyed the show.
All right. Thanks, SC. Bob.
Oh, I just got back, so I ain't got anything to input necessarily.
All right. Fair enough. Thanks, Bob. And Rumpus.
Right, a couple of things there. the moron flat Earth data. I mean, how on earth he can think I've dodged the issue of barrel distortion when I've been talking about it almost non-stop, and I've got a picture on screen here showing what barrel distortion does, and he claims that I didn't. I'm ignoring it. I mean, just extraordinary. Every other sentence I've been talking about it, and yet he claims I haven't. Unbelievable. I mean, the guy. I mean, this just shows you how his filtering he's applying. So here we have barrel distortion. I'm just in case there seem to be some people having a problem with understanding what it does.
Well, don't respond, Data. Wait, it's final thoughts. Hold on.
Oh my goodness.
Just hold on.
Rumpus.
Hold on, Data. Hold on, Data. Hold on, Data. Hold on, Data. Hold on. Hold on, Data. Hold on.
This is what
You're
barrel
beating that dead
Go
horse,
ahead,
buddy.
Rumpus.
This is what I've been describing, and this is what happens to the grey line in this. We know that the barrel distortion, because this grey line is bent, as you can see here. Here's a straight line, the yellow line.
What's the percentage of barrel distortion, bro?
Wait, Data, hold on. It's final thoughts.
8%?
Well, we'll do.
Go ahead.
Like you can. Well, that we can see from this that the barrel distortion is not great. And this is, of course, Mr. Sensible did pick a lens that he thought didn't have, or was very close to being rectilinear. Now he's demonstrated with the line.
Maybe you should clean up your clothes. It's cold in here.
God.
It's so cold in here. It's like
Right.
cold in
So,
here.
you've got an open mic, you twat. Whoever's speaking.
Go ahead,
now.
Rumpus.
Right. So. Therefore, this is what barrel distortion, and that's what we can see happening to the grey line here when it goes away. And this means that, as you can see, these are straight lines that I'm showing you in this graphic, and they're being made to bend up. Now that means that's negating. If there was a straight line, it would appear to bend up. That means if there was a curved Earth-like curve here, that would be made to look more flat. And in this image here, we've got, which we know this lens has got some sort of barrel distortion. It is still curved, even though it's in the area which, according to the barrel distortion thing, will make it look more flat or be more curved up, not curved down. So the fact that it's doing the opposite what the barrel distortion is, whereas the grey line is doing what the barrel distortion is, as we would expect, just demonstrates the curve is there. Now we have the other images where we've got these diagonal effects. And in those, I must admit, the Earth is certainly looking very close to that. It still had a very slight curve in it, but nonetheless, it was much less curved than this image. And obviously I should really have gone and picked an image here that was in the center, where you do, even on a crappy lens, barrel distortion will not actually affect diagonals and things that go through the center. If you have a line that passes through the center, even of a crappy lens, then it does not distort with barrel distortion. And that's why I said in the with Gleam's claim about Rory's pictures, in the center of them, we know that they are rectilinear in that portion of the lens because the red bars were fundamentally horizontal. Or some images where
Are you wrapping it up pretty soon?
Okay, nearly there. But so we know that there's a rectilinear lens in the middle of those Rory images, and therefore we know that the curve is genuine. Right, and oh yes, and then gone to Gleam. And when asked, he was saying how good he was at maths when we know he's not. And then he offered a calculation for how to work out the power. This is what he offered as an example of his competence in maths, and he got it completely wrong, which is exactly what happens whenever he cites anything. It always
you can't explain it.
And he can't even do a simple
tell us what it is then.
Variable equation. Well, power is equal.
And you guys can continue. Okay. Well, my final thoughts are: we got a final super chat from Lumberjack. Let's see here. He says, "That's all I can take from Rumpus. Gleam, you rock, brother. Later, guys." Honestly, that's about all I could take from Rumpus too. I think 3 hours was plenty. It was very entertaining. I mean, I understand that some people don't want to listen to Rumpus or some of the other ballers come on, and it is the same thing every time. Rumpus comes in here, insults, and usually I kick him before too long, but I don't know. Every once in a while, we got to have a little fun. There's a lot of people out there who like to hear that, and at least we had a baller come on to defend those images, which are ridiculous to rely on compressed photos from 120,000 feet and then declare when what you see on the screen matches what your conceptualization of the Earth is, that it's not distorted. But when it doesn't match what your conceptualization of the Earth is, then it is distorted. That's ridiculous. Anyway, appreciate it. Hope you guys had fun, and we'll likely see you tomorrow, 5:05. And thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.